Chapter 332. She's getting more and more outrageous. Previously, when she was in the Xiang family mansion, she was so obsessed with her online dating partner. Of course, Xiang Yi's grandfather, Madame Xiang, didn't know that Xiang Yi had more than one online dating partner at that time. Madame Xiang liked to be lively and lively. From time to time, there would be gatherings at home, and the guests were all her old friends. Occasionally, she would bring her nephews and grandchildren to hang out with each other. This wretched girl actually fell in love with a man who is more than 10 years older than me. He's a generation older than me too. If it's really a match made in heaven, it's fine. The Xiang family doesn't value seniority that much anyway. However, he's a notorious playboy. Xiang Yi insisted on marrying him and threw a tantrum for a long time before she stopped. Madame Xiang persuaded, "Why don't we go back?" Firstly, she was afraid that Xiang Yi would get so angry that he would fall ill when he saw Xiang Yi. Secondly, she was afraid that her little tutu would be reprimanded and beaten up. No matter how disobedient Xiang Yi was, she would still feel sorry for her. Although Xiang Yi's grandfather sounded stubborn, she was well aware that Xiang Yi doted on Xiang Yi the most among all the men in the family. The boys doted on her, but Xiang Yi doted on her. Other families would carry their children until they were 2 or 3 years old at most, but Xiang Yi didn't even walk much when she went shopping when she was 4 or 5 years old. Xiang Yi was the one who carried her around. "I'm not going back. She should be the one avoiding me. How can I, an elder, avoid her?" Xiang Yi's grandfather was fierce and he waved his gentleman's cane in the air twice. "I'll go see what she's up to again. If she dares to mess around, I'll break her legs." Xiang Yi took the lead and walked in. Madame Xiang hurriedly followed him. There weren't many amusement parks in Tutu and the rides were all low risk. They had a wide view and could see everything at a glance. As soon as Xiang Yi's grandfather, Madame Xiang, entered, she saw Li Jianghu and old Jiang, who were still on the merry-go-round, were having a great time. At this moment, it was already at 4 times the speed, and the merry-go-round had turned into a flying merry-go-round. Although Xiang Yin was old, he still had a sharp sense of hearing and sight. However, it took him some effort to see the faces of the two people clearly. Xiang Yin hollered, "This wretched lass has such poor taste. Not at all like him." Madame Xiang took out her reading glasses and gracefully put them on. After looking at them for a while, she sighed in melancholy. How could this be? Each one was uglier than the other. And each one was older than the other. Little Tutu's taste in men was it was too horrible to look at. All of a sudden, Xiang Yi noticed that there was some movement coming from the car that Tutu had crashed into. He squinted his sharp eyes and vaguely saw Shui's back. He couldn't help but mutter, "This seems okay, Madame Xiang." "Old man, what did you say?" Xiang Yin cleared his throat and pretended to be fierce. "I'll go see what kind of wretched man she's found." Madame Xiang was even more worried. "Is this guy even older?" The two walked past the tripod where the camera was fixed. Li Jianghu and old Jiang were immersed in the childish joy of men and didn't notice the two of them at all. However, the netizens watching the live stream had sharp eyes. "Wow! That pair of grandparents is so trendy. Ooh, grandpa's tie and grandma's bag are of the same color. Wait, didn't Sister E say that this amusement park is not open to the public? Could it be that they are her elders? Huh? Doesn't that mean our Shui is going to meet her parents?" Chapter 333. On the other side, Xiang Yi was happily playing with Shui. There were 2 long bunny ears on the front of the bumper car, which would droop down like a lop-eared rabbit when they collided with each other. Xiang Yi rarely went to the amusement park after junior high school. The reason was simple. No matter how fun the amusement park was, it would be boring to play alone. After her parents got into an accident, she couldn't get over it for a long time and studied at home in elementary school. After junior high school, she kept skipping grades and was busy with her studies. Hence, she didn't have much time to socialize. The few friends whom she was close to had completely cut off contact with them because of that person in the past year. She felt that Shui was really kind and mature. Yet, she was willing to play such a childish game with her. She skillfully turned the steering wheel and locked onto Shui's position before accelerating towards Tutu's car. Halfway through, an old man appeared out of nowhere. Xiang Yi hurriedly stepped on the brakes, but due to inertia she hit her head against the steering wheel. When she looked up, there was a red patch on her fair forehead. It was painful to look at. Xiang Yin couldn't help but frown. Xiang Yi's eyes lit up when she saw him. "Grandpa." Xiang Yin immediately said, "Don't call me grandpa. I'm not your grandpa. I don't have a granddaughter like you." His tone was cold and harsh, causing the light in Xiang Yi's eyes to dim. She lowered her eyelashes and adjusted her emotions for a few seconds before, pressing the button to reverse the car. Tutu's car reversed a great distance, and the bunny ears on the front of the car had malfunctioned. They drooped down dejectedly and looked listless. Xiang Yin was speechless. What? I told you not to call me Grandpa and you're really not going to do it? You're finally obedient. Xiang Yin didn't expect that he would get angry when Xiang Yin was disobedient. Now that she was obedient, he got even angrier. Madame Xiang was a few steps slower. When she walked over, she discovered that Xiang Yi had reversed the car and left without saying a word. Seeing that Xiang Yin's forehead and eyes were red, old Mrs. Xiang's heart melted and she waved at her. Your grandpa is scaring you, ignore him. Be good, Tutu, come to grandma. Xiang Yi hesitated, wondering if she should go over. Xiang Yin exclaimed, Don't come over. I don't want to see you. Therefore, Little Rabbit backed the car further away. Mr. Xiang, Madam Xiang. Shi Sui had alighted from the car at some point and greeted the two elders in a warm voice. Then he began chatting with them naturally and his manners were impeccable. After exchanging a few pleasantries, the topic turned back to Xiang Yi. Xiang Yi's grandfather said sarcastically, She has the time to come to the amusement park with you but doesn't have the time to visit me at the old residence. I think she doesn't take me seriously at all. Shi Sui said apologetically, Grandpa, you've misunderstood. It's not that Sister E doesn't want to go. It's because of work. We're here today to shoot some material. He glanced in the direction of the merry-go-round, his temples twitching. That's our show's director and cameraman. They're doing a live broadcast. Just as he was about to explain what a live broadcast meant, he heard Madame Xiang say, Live broadcast? I've heard of it before. Live broadcasts sell goods. It's like shopping on TV. I've seen Mrs. Zhou's grandson next door teach her how to shop. She was really envious because neither she nor Xiang Yi knew how to shop. Shi Sui smiled and asked, Grandma, what do you want to buy? Do you want Sister E to come over and buy it for you? Before Madame Xiang could answer, Xiang Yin interjected, No. Meet. Chapter 334. Madame Xiang retorted, Do you know how to do it? Xiang Yin said guiltily, I can learn. You've already learned it several times, Madame Xiang said, exposing him mercilessly. Xiang Yin thought, You're hurting my feelings, old woman. He retorted stubbornly, Anyway, I don't want that wretched girl to teach me. I'm telling you, if she ignores me, I won't say a word to her either. Xiang Yin was full of energy and roaring loudly. Xiang Yi vaguely heard what he said and wanted to hide in a corner, but the car didn't move at all. She looked up and realized that Shi Sui had pressed the switch with her fair and slender fingers. Where are you going to hide? Shi Sui asked smilingly while looking down at her. Xiang Yi looked away and said, I'm not hiding. She just felt a little aggrieved. It was clearly not her fault, but she had to be scolded by her grandfather who used to dote on her the most. Shi Sui stared at her for a few seconds before leaning forward and squatting beside her. She said in a low and gentle voice, Sister E, running away is useful, but it's not the best way to solve problems. If you don't want to face it, I'll leave with you. If you're willing to face it, I'll stay with you too. Grandpa and Grandma aren't that scary, are they? His persuasive tone made Xiang Yi's heart waver. Sister E, if you're scared, you don't have to hide so far away. Shi Sui smirked and continued, Just hide behind me. She didn't know why, but inexplicably Xiang Yi was a little touched. She felt that Shi Sui was so mature while she was so childish. She didn't deserve to be a fan anymore. My grandpa is very painful when he beats people up. As a hot-tempered traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, Xiang Yin's grandpa would often say, I'll blow a swana at your grave, to his patients who refused to listen to his advice. He was also very ruthless when he beat people up, and Xiang Yin's uncle would often be beaten to tears. It's okay, I can take a beating. A few seconds later, Xiang Yi pursed her lips and said, Okay then. I'll go see Grandpa. Xiang Yin rubbed her head gently. Sister E, you're so obedient. After Li Jinyu and old Zhang let go of themselves and reaped the joy, they finally remembered their original job. They hurriedly carried the camera and other livestream equipment to Xiang Yi. Coincidentally, he saw that Xiang Yi was driving Tutu's car and had Shi Sui sit in the front passenger seat. Xiang Yi even reminded him to fasten his seatbelt. Although Tutu's car was a two-seater, Shi Sui was tall and had long legs. After sitting in the car, the originally small space became even more cramped. Their arms seemed to be touching each other. The netizens in the live stream, ha ha, fastening the seatbelt is so cute, there are thousands of paths but safety comes first. This car is so cute. You wanted it. I want it. The two of them drove to Xiang Yi's grandfather, Madame Xiang. Shui got out of the car while Xiangyi was still hesitating. The man chuckled and opened the car door for her. He drew a half circle in the air with his hand, as if inviting a proud and elegant princess to dance. Princess Tutu, please get out of the car. Xiangyi was speechless. She was a little embarrassed, but she was also a little happy to have a way out. She got out of the car and tugged at the hem of her clothes uncomfortably. She said softly, "Hello, Grandpa and Grandma." Xiangyin was speechless. She's calling me Grandpa again. She's so obedient. But does she think I'll forgive her just like that? How naive. I'm the most difficult old man to coax in this world. My wife is the most difficult old woman to coax in this world. Don't even think about coaxing us. To his surprise, Xiangyi asked gently, "Grandma, shall I teach you how to buy things in the live stream?" Madame Xiang exclaimed, Sure. A Tutu is so sensible." Xiangyin was speechless. Chapter 335. Old Mr. Xiang was confused and he hinted at Madame Xiang with his eyes. "Didn't we agree to stand on the same side?" Madame Xiang rolled her eyes at him. "We didn't agree. Little Tutu is so obedient and soft, which means that Taoist Master Qin was right. The evil has already left. How can I not pamper and protect my granddaughter?" Xiangyi slowed down her speech and taught her in detail. "Grandma, take out your cell phone first, then click on this orange app and click on the search box at the top." Madame Xiang didn't manage to learn it after listening to it once. Xiangyi impatiently taught her the second time. Finally, Madame Xiang learned how to search for the live stream and clicked on the live stream that was ranked number 1 in real time. Dear viewers, this rag absorbs water and it's excellent. There are also several colors to choose from. It's priced at 59.99 yuan in the supermarket and 19.99 yuan in our live stream for a super low discount. The first 10,000 people to bid for the treasure will be given an additional 100 milliliters of natural, pollution-free fruit and vegetable detergent. The live stream host shouted enthusiastically, and at the critical moment she suddenly exclaimed, "Our live stream is limited to 50,000 copies. Dear viewers, 54321, upload the link." Madame Xiang said anxiously, "Little Tutu, hurry up and buy it, otherwise you won't be able to buy it." Xiangyin was speechless. "It's not like we don't have rag in our house. Besides, when have you ever done any housework?" Madame Xiang barked, "Shut up." Xiangyin said, "Okay." Seeing this scene in the live stream of Two Under One Roof, the netizens almost burst into laughter. I'm watching a live stream? Grandma looks just like the first time I saw a live stream selling goods. Ha, I can't take it anymore. Grandma is so cute when she's angry at Grandpa. Grandpa looks fierce, but I didn't expect him to be a henpecked husband." Looking at the interaction between her grandparents, Xiangyi couldn't help but burst into laughter. She followed the live stream's instructions and grabbed the coupons before buying them. The screen showed that the order had been successfully placed. Madame Xiang was overjoyed. Great. We've got it." Xiangyi said, "Grandma, it's actually more than 50,000 was just a marketing tactic." Before he could finish his sentence, Shui patted him on the shoulder. The young girl exchanged glances with him, understanding tacitly. As long as Grandma is happy, there's no need to expose her. Then the host started to show the second product. This is a pair of men's sports shorts. It absorbs sweat and is easy to wear. Original price blah blah blah. Madame Xiang said in disdain, "Little Tutu, isn't there a skip button?" Xiangyi shook her head. However, Xiangyin was a little anxious. He hollered at the screen, "Why are you speaking so quickly? Kid, speak slowly." He didn't even hear it clearly. The netizens in the live stream. Reality, the reality of the world? Ha. Does anyone want to go to the streamer's live stream and spam, "Speak slowly"? My sister is the same. She's so obsessed with shopping for herself. When I asked her to buy me socks, she said, "You're not worthy, cac." The live stream soon finished describing the product and Xiangyin was obviously a little tempted. He egged Madame Xiang on. "Old woman, buy it for me." Madame Xiang said leisurely, "It's not like you don't have any pants to wear. It'd be a waste to buy so many." Xiangyin was speechless. Madame Xiang did it on purpose. After getting along with Xiangyin for decades, she had a firm grasp of his character. Sure enough, after being rejected by her, Xiangyin crossed his arms angrily. He didn't want to buy it at first, but when he heard the live stream say that there were only 5,000 pairs left, he couldn't help but poke Xiangyi's arm. It was the kind of touch that caused him to leave immediately. He said arrogantly, "Hey, buy it for me." Chapter 336. Xiangyi froze in shock. Is Grandpa talking to me? Seeing that she was ignoring him, Xiangyin said reluctantly, I'll give you money. I won't take advantage of you. A faint smile appeared in Sui's eyes. Madame Xiang turned around and covered her mouth as she snickered. Who was the one who said he was going to ignore little Tutu? How many minutes has it been? Xiangyi snapped back to reality and said, Grandpa, I'll buy it for you now. What color do you want? Xiangyin humphed and said, black one, it'll go well. He had learned the word, go well, from Madame Xiang. Women are so troublesome. They've been wearing couple outfits for decades and yet they don't get tired of it. He had no choice but to wear it with her. Xiangyi smiled and said, okay. There were some haters in the live stream. She bought it just like that? She didn't even ask for his size. She's so careless. I'm dying of laughter. What kind of rich and beautiful girl is she? She's trying to please Grandpa with a pair of pants that cost more than 100 yuan. Serves Grandpa right for not liking her. After all, boys are meant to carry on the family name while girls are meant to be outsiders sooner or later. In the next second, Xiangyi said, Grandpa, I remember that you wear XL. Can I buy XXL pants for this pair of pants? It'll be more comfortable if the sweatpants are looser. Xiangyin muttered softly, at least you still have some conscience. Madame Xiang said smilingly, little Tutu, let me test you. What size shoes do your grandpa and I wear? Xiangyi blurted out without hesitation, Grandma wears 36 and Grandpa wears 43. Our little Tutu has such a good memory. Madame Xiang couldn't help but praise her. You've been meticulous ever since you were young. You're much more considerate than your brothers. Your grandpa and grandma's little jacket while the rest of them are at most military coats. As for your uncle, TSK, he can't even be considered a pair of underpants. Sure enough, Xiang Yi's uncle was being despised every day. In the livestream. This time, no one indulged the haters and they immediately started retorting. Xiang Yin? Do you know that the Qing dynasty? Do you still value boys over girls? You call this not attentive? Anyway, I don't even know how big my grandparents wear. Those who are against Sister E, ask yourselves, do you have the patience to accompany the elderly? Do you have the patience to teach them how to use the internet over and over again? Xiangyi accompanied the two elders to watch the live stream and bought a lot of things. However, this streamer did not expect that in just 10 minutes, 1 or 2 million people would flood into his live broadcast room. There wasn't a lot of traffic in the morning, but to be able to reach this number meant he was on fire. However, the streamer was confused. He did not understand how he became so popular. Moreover, there was a group of people in the live broadcast room who were spamming something like, speak slowly. What kind of joke was this? Is this a new type of internet slang? The clip of Xiangyi teaching her grandparents how to watch the live broadcast was also edited and posted on a video website. Unexpectedly, it became popular. In just a few hours, the number of likes had exceeded 200,000 and the number of shares had reached tens of thousands. Ah, this video is so nice. You speak better than me. He posted it in the family group chat. My mom and aunts have learned to watch live streams and shop online. My grandparents said that this girl is beautiful and kind-hearted. Judging from the way she looks at me, I suspect that Sister E is their biological granddaughter. It was also from this day onwards that Xiangyi began to gain a large number of middle-aged and elderly mother fans, milk powder fans and milk powder fans. Her popularity soared. When her grandparents were satisfied with the shopping, Xiangyi finally turned off the live stream on her cell phone. Madame Xiang said softly, Old rabbit, look, little Tutu has returned to her original self. Xiang Yin said awkwardly, I haven't forgiven her yet. Does she think she can coax me with such a simple method? She only managed to coax 1% of me. Chapter 337. Xiang Yin stole a glance at Xiangyi, only to discover, Shui handed him a bottle of water and even took the initiative to unscrew the cap. Xiang Yin squinted and fixed his gaze on her. She was quite pleasing to the eye just now, but now she's so annoying. However, Madame Xiang mistakenly thought that the two of them were in a relationship. Perhaps because of Li Jinyu and old Zhang, she was more and more satisfied with Shui. In the manner. Sanction slept until 9 o'clock in the morning, which was a rare indulgence for him. According to his habit, he read the financial headlines while drinking black coffee, and then glanced at the stock charts. Immediately afterwards, Sanction began to process his emails. Although he was on vacation, there were still some things that he had to take care of. Halfway through replying to the English email, his cell phone vibrated. He picked it up to take a look, only to see that it was a message from Guardian of the best Xiang Yi in the world. Guardian. Sorry to disturb you, I've sorted out the details of the case and sent them to you. Can I send the document to you directly on WeChat? Sanction expressed assent. Soon, Guardian sent the document over. Sanction opened it and skimmed through it before carefully combing through it. The gist of it was that Guardian's good friend had graduated from college this year and she majored in chemistry. When she applied for a job, she came in first in the written test and interview. However, in the end she was not hired and a man who ranked lower than her was hired instead. She called the HR department to inquire about it, but the reply she received was that the position was more suitable for men. Guardian's good friend was furious, but she had just graduated and didn't have the money to file a lawsuit. Guardian wanted to seek help from a public interest lawyer on Weibo, so she tried to post it. She didn't expect to receive a reply from Sanction. She was already very grateful. After learning that Sanction was Sister Yi's elder brother, she felt even more embarrassed because she felt that she had caused trouble for Sanction and indirectly for Sister Yi. Guardian. Is this lawsuit easy to fight? If it's a waste of time, forget it. My friend is looking for a new job. Guardian. Pitiful. JPG. In the beginning she and her good friend were indeed furious, but as time passed they had no choice but to accept it. After all, there was too much inequality in this society. They were just two ordinary freshmen. How could they fight against those cruel rules? Chin. I'll arrange for someone to follow up. Chin. Do you have any more expression packs? The Guardian on the other end of the screen was stunned for a moment. Only then did he realize that the emoticon she had just sent was made from Sister Yi's GIF. Guardian. Yes. She hurriedly sent over the dozens of Sister Yi emojis she had made. On the other end of the screen, Sanction was expressionless and serious. He saved the emojis one by one. Chin. For the sake of the emoji pack, I will personally take charge of this case. The trial is expected to start in 3 days. You and your friend should prepare for it. Guardian? Did she see wrongly? The top lawyer in the country, a big shot who only took on cases in the millions, was actually going to personally take on such a small case. Guardian was instantly terrified. This is not necessary. Moreover, Sanction was not a public interest lawyer. His legal fees were very, very expensive. Even if Sanction didn't want it, she and her friend should give him some. She reckoned that she and her friend would have to eat dirt for the next few months. Buzz? She lowered her head and looked at her phone. Chin? In the future, if you have any tutu emojis, send them to me as soon as possible. Thank you. After turning off the screen, Sanction returned to his cold, noble and elegant appearance. Chapter 338. At the amusement park. When Li Jinyu heard that Madame Xiang wanted to take a photo, he volunteered to do it for her. Xiang Yin looked extremely displeased. What? Are you trying to snatch my job? Shi Sui said, why don't we all take a photo? Grandma, you can use the photo of whoever you like. Madame Xiang nodded gracefully and said, thank you for the trouble then. Hence, the netizens in the live stream witnessed Madame Xiang striking a pose that was commonly used throughout the country. A shawl. Director Li is so hardworking. He's even lying on the ground to take a photo. Aha, damn. I suspect that Madame Xiang is spying on our family life. It's so realistic. My mother and aunt always take this pose when they go to scenic spots. After changing a few poses, Madame Xiang came over to take a look at the photos. Li Jinyu was also very good at it. After getting Madame Xiang's permission, he got old Zhang to do a close-up of everyone's cell phones. First it was Xiang Yi's. Her photos were quite decent, which was not bad. Next was Li Jinyu's photo, which was impressive as he took a beautiful photo. Next was Shi Sui's photo, which was surprisingly good at taking photos and made Madame Xiang look warm and affectionate. Finally, it was Xiang Yin's turn. The netizens in the live stream mocked mercilessly. Grandpa, you're a straight man. You've made Grandma look like a dot in the photo. Thank you, I'm offended. Even my boyfriend looks so ugly when he takes photos of me. Haha, I even saw several photos with their eyes closed. They were really perfect when Grandma blinked. Madame Xiang adjusted her shawl and said with a smile, I hereby announce that the best photo goes to little Tutu. Before she could finish, someone criticized her. Even if you're biased, you shouldn't be like this, right? Anyone can tell that Director Li and Shi Sui have done a good job. I'm speechless. The next second, Madame Xiang said leisurely, Little Tutu, Shi Sui, and Little Li are tied for first place. She winked at the three of them and said, there will be rewards for all of you later. The netizens in front of the screen were stunned for a moment before they realized how brilliant Madame Xiang's EQ was. Ah, Grandma is so gentle. I don't care, I want to cheer for Grandma. Xiang Yin panicked. What about me? Second? Madame Xiang said in disdain, you wish. You're last. It could be said that the double standards were incisively and vividly displayed. Feeling aggrieved and infuriated, Xiang Yin turned around and ignored Madame Xiang. He asked Xiang Yi fiercely, "Are my photos really that bad?" "Xiang Yi, what kind of question was this?" Just as she was struggling with how to answer, Shui naturally continued, Grandma must like the photos you took the most because you're the person she likes the most." Xiang Yin's face stiffened. 1 second, 2 seconds. In the third second, the corners of his mouth curled up with joy. This little imp is quite eloquent. However, in the blink of an eye, he recalled the scene of Shui handing Xiang Yi a glass of water just now, and his expression immediately changed. Glib tongue. What if he bullies little Tutu in the future? I can't have such a man. The netizens watching the live stream all expressed that Xiang Yin's facial expression was textbook level. Of course, Madame Xiang could guess Xiang Yin's thoughts. She found an excuse to ask him to go to the side to take photos of the flowers and plants. She then affectionately held Shui's hand. "Grandson-in-law, you must take good care of Tutu." Xiang Yi was confused. "Grandma, did you misunderstand something?" She was about to explain, but Shui smiled and said, "Grandma, don't stand on ceremony with me. It's my duty to take care of Tutu." Xiang Yi was dumbfounded. Chapter 339. Her cherry lips quivered and she muttered, "No, he's not." Xiang Yi suddenly felt an arm around her shoulder and was momentarily at a loss for words. She looked at Shui in astonishment. Shui's expression remained the same as he leaned over and whispered a few words into her ear. Xiang Yi was speechless. Shui said that since Grandma was so happy, he didn't want to disappoint her and said that he could reluctantly pretend to be her boyfriend. It sounded like he was being considerate of her and Grandma, but Xiang Yi felt that something was amiss. The fans who were watching the live stream were flabbergasted. This is the ugly husband meeting the parents, right? Ugly? Mind your words, how is our Shui ugly? Official announcement? Shui didn't deny that Grandma called him her grandson-in-law, which means he's acquiescing. Madame Xiang couldn't help but cover her mouth and snicker when she saw how harmonious and intimate the two of them were. "Seems like my dear Tutu and her grandson-in-law have a good relationship." Madame Xiang thought that it was good for girls to be in a relationship a few times as they would become more mature when it came to relationships. Xiang Yin, who was standing nearby, saw it. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets and he hollered, "Rascal! Get your hands off me! Get them off me!" Xiang Yi shuddered in shock. Shui's hand on her shoulder was still very stable. Xiang Yin stopped taking pictures of the flowers and plants and instead rushed over aggressively, hitting Shui with his walking stick. Shui didn't dodge and instead took the hit. Xiang Yin was so strong that Xiang Yi could hear the muffled sound of the walking stick hitting her flesh. "Grandpa! Old man!" Xiang Yin ignored the two of them and barked at Shui. "You're not allowed to touch our Tutu. Our Tutu is such an adorable girl, you're not worthy of her at all. Don't try to get up to any tricks. As long as I'm around, don't even think about abducting Tutu." He took a deep breath and added fiercely, "No man can do it." When the netizens in the live stream saw this scene, some were worried while others were gloating. "Wow, Grandpa is so fierce it must have hurt a lot. Glass shards again? Grandpa, don't torture them, Q. Why is this old man so cocky? How dare you look down on our Shui? Please, your granddaughter is the one who doesn't deserve it." That's great, please break them up. I've long disliked the vase fairy. Why does she get all the good things? She should just die alone as an old nun. Hee. Even Li Jinyu thought that Shui was going to fail this time. As a director, especially a variety show director, he was very good at reading people's eyes. Artistes who used a love script to act and those who truly liked someone were completely different. He had long seen through Shui's feelings for Sister Yi. Shui has been too careless this time. She had improved Madame Xiang's impression of her but caused Xiang Yi's grandfather to detest her greatly. That was simply not worth the loss. Unexpectedly, before Xiang Yi's grandfather swung his cane again, Xiang Yi pulled Shui back with one hand and grabbed Xiang Yi's cane with the other. "Grandpa, you've misunderstood, I'm not going to his house." Xiang Yi's grandfather hollered, "Do you still want him to marry into our family?" Madame Xiang coughed lightly and said, "It's not impossible." Xiang Yi's grandfather flew into a rage. "I don't agree to this marriage." He straightened his back and waited for Xiang Yi to promise him that she would draw a clear line between her and Xiang Yi. In the next second, Xiang Yi swallowed her saliva and ran away with Shui. The netizens were dumbfounded. Xiang Yi's grandfather was speechless. "What? You want to elope?" Chapter 340. Xiangyi and Shi Sui were running so fast that Li Jinyu and old Zhang chased after them for a long time but still couldn't catch up. Instead they were exhausted. "Oh my god, I can't take it anymore, I'm exhausted," Li Jinyu said, panting heavily. Old Zhang was carrying equipment that weighed dozens of kilograms and was so tired that he couldn't speak. Li Jinyu leaned in front of the camera and said, "Hee hee, maybe you guys want to see the two of us continue the merry-go-round?" The netizens were appalled. "Ah, go away. You're so ugly." "Shi Sui, Sister E, you're so beautiful." "Director Li, you're so ugly." "Sui, perform a 360-degree Thomas spin for Daddy and I'll forgive you." Li Jinyu was quite good at controlling the situation. Amidst the laughter, he temporarily turned off the live stream. He muttered to himself, "Daddy sure is indeed Daddy sure. He's able to turn the tables and show off. So what if I offend Xiangyi? So what if I get beaten up? I got Sister E." On the other hand, after making sure that they were far enough away, Xiangyi breathed a sigh of relief and said, "You scared me to death, Grandpa is so fierce." She felt that if they didn't leave now, Grandpa would break Shi Sui's legs. Shi Sui ran with her for such a long distance, but his breathing was not irregular at all. In fact, he was even in the mood to tease her. "Sister E, hand." Xiangyi hurriedly let go of his hand as if she had been electrocuted. "Don't get me wrong, I'm just afraid that you'll get beaten up by Grandpa." "Yes, I know." Meeting the man's smiling eyes, Xiangyi suddenly had a feeling of discomfort. "Ahem, I'll call Grandma and then we'll go pick up Xiao Naofu." "Okay." Xiangyi went to the side to make a call. Shi Sui could vaguely hear her acting coquettishly. When she was acting coquettishly, her voice was gentle and soft, but it was sweet. However, when she returned to his side, she regained her composure and said, "Grandma said that she would help me coax Grandpa. But then again, why do the two of them think that we're in love?" The girl was confused. The actor who had caused the misunderstanding to deepen didn't change his expression. "Maybe it's because my brother is too likable." "Xiangyi? ? Don't you know that you have to make an appointment to go on a blind date with your brother during the new year?" "Xiangyi?" She was shocked. "Shi Sui. I know I'm no longer a fan. I'm not fit to be a fan. Is Shi Sui that popular in the matchmaking market? No wonder Grandma liked him so much." She was curious. "What does it feel like to go on a blind date? Is there really such a weirdo as described on the internet?" Nan had previously shared a love gossip post with her, scolding those top-notch blind dates. "Shi Sui, do you want to know?" He chuckled softly. "Next New Year, how about I give you a walk-in experience?" Xiangyi thought he was joking and said, "It's not right to cut in line. Why don't I line up?" Shi Sui stopped in her tracks. Then, as if nothing had happened, she caught up with her. "Okay, I'll call you when it's your turn." At the Logic Esports base, Xiangyi and the rest arrived at 11 o'clock. Apart from Xiao Naofu, who was still alive and kicking, no one else had woken up. At this moment in the living room, Xiangyi stared at the huge cat tree, the luxurious cat villa, and the rich cat playground and fell into deep thought. Did I treat Xiao Naofu too badly? Brother and the rest are too nice to Xiao Naofu? She somehow felt like a poor child who had gone to a rich relative's house to be pampered. Hearing the footsteps, Xiao Naofu turned around and wagged its tail excitedly before scurrying towards Xiangyi. "Oh, stupid woman. I want a hug. I want a kiss." All of a sudden, a pair of large hands grabbed the back of Xiao Naofu's neck and raised it in front of him, smiling lazily. "Xiao Naofu, long time no see. Do you want a kiss with your brother?" "Get lost, damn it." Chapter 341. Shi Sui's peach blossom eyes curved slightly as a playful smile flashed across his face. He leaned down and pretended to kiss Xiao Naofu. His pale thin lips were getting closer and closer to Xiao Naofu. Meow meow meow. Xiao Naofu stretched out its chubby paws and desperately blocked Shi Sui's lips, not allowing him to get any closer. Shi Sui's eyes flashed with a sinister light as he slowly retreated. Xiao Naofu breathed a sigh of relief. Woo-woo, this hoo-hoo has protected his innocence. Suddenly, Shi Sui made a sound of surprise. "Sister E, do you think Xiao Naofu is bald?" Xiangyi leaned over to take a closer look and said worriedly, "It seems to be a little." The fur on the top of Xiao Naofu's head was obviously thinner than the rest of his body. "Just how long has fourth brother been stroking me in these few days?" Xiao Naofu's eyes widened as it raised its paws and rubbed its head. Did this hoo-hoo's fur really become thinner? Then wouldn't it become a bald tiger? Unexpectedly, what greeted it was a sudden kiss from Shi Sui. With a soft pop sound, the man's lips were imprinted on Xiao Naofu's cheek. Xiao Naofu, rumble, the whole world began to collapse. It was as if it had been struck by lightning as it stared blankly at Shui. Jiske, why are you shedding fur? Shui's lips curled into a devilish smile. It doesn't taste good at all when I kiss you. Xiao Nao Fu. Dog man. *CK. You mother *her, I'm going to bite you to death. It opened its mouth wide and revealed its sharp teeth, looking like it was going to fight Shui to the death. But in the next second, it fell into a warm and fragrant embrace. Xiao Nao Fu, don't bite. Xiangyi spoke in a tone like she was educating a child. Xiao Nao Fu pointed its paws at Shui. Oh. Awoo, he kissed me. Dog man, he kissed me. Xiangyi understood what it meant. She coaxed it softly, brother Shui kissed you because he likes you. Shui added fuel to the fire. Yes, I never kiss other people's kittens. Xiao Nao Fu was so angry that he lost his mind. Woof, woof woof. He gradually turned into a dog. Li Jinyu and old Zhang, who were watching from the side, were about to go crazy with laughter. Xiangyi, Tong Tong, do you still remember that you are a little tiger? Which little tiger in the world would bark like a dog? Okay, don't be angry anymore. Our Xiao Nao Fu is the most obedient. Xiangyi paced back and forth with it in her arms, patiently coaxing it for a few minutes. Xiao Nao Fu sniffled and snuggled into Xiangyi's arms, rubbing its head against her cloud-like softness. Not far away, Shui's dark eyes suddenly narrowed. After Xiao Nao Fu whined and whined for a long time, fourth brother Xiangyu woke up. He washed up as fast as he could and didn't even have time to comb his hair. The first thing he did was to go downstairs to feed Xiao Nao Fu cat food. Seeing Xiangyu's figure, Li Jinyu motioned for old Zhang to start the livestream. The first scene of the livestream was the esports god's sleepy appearance with his hair standing on end. Sister. His voice was slightly hoarse as he had just woken up. Brother, I'm here to take Xiao Nao Fu home. Xiangyu was silent. He took Xiao Nao Fu from her arms and skillfully rubbed its head. He said coldly, changing environments often is not good for cat's mental health. The netizens in the livestream. I love Smog's look when he just woke up. Haha, Sameo Gu is rubbing the cat like he's making meatballs. Sameo Gu, without Xiao Nao Fu it's not good for my mental health. Chapter 342. Haha, you keep pretending. I still have the video of you snorting cats last time. Xiangyi, let's eat first, we'll ask Xiao Nao Fu for his opinion later. Xiangyu nodded coldly. What do you want to eat? I'll order takeout. I've prepared the ingredients. Xiangyi's eyes curved slightly, as if there was a gentle moonlight hidden in her eyes. Brother, let me cook for you guys. Xiangyu said in all seriousness, you do yours, I'll order mine. His sister's food belonged to him. Takeout belonged to Wander and the other animals. The esports base had hired an auntie to cook, but the players were still used to ordering takeout. The auntie helped Xiangyi and soon, the aroma of food began to waft out of the kitchen. The smell was so fragrant that the players who couldn't be woken up by the alarm clock all woke up one by one. Auntie, what did you make today? It smells so good. Amazing, it's braised pork, right? I'll have 2 bowls of rice later. I think I can smell the pork rib soup. Sob, I'm so hungry. Do you have any snacks to fill my stomach? Xiangyu waited until they were almost done with their discussion before he casually said, my sister is here. Everyone was shocked. They had signed a contract with the livestream software to stream for a certain amount of time every month. Occasionally they would watch the live streams of other streamers, but there was one live stream program that everyone had to watch in addition to the replay videos of the competition. That was Xiangyi's edited version of her cooking. It was a godly meal. Watching her cook was simply a form of enjoyment. They didn't expect that Xiangyi would come to their esports base to cook today. The group of youngsters immediately began to fawn over Xiangyu. I'll scoop Xiao Nao Fu's poop today. Smog, you're my good brother, so your sister is our sister too. Brother, do you want some water? Do you want ice water, hot water, or warm water? Warm water? Warm water? He was undoubtedly a bootlicker. Xiangyu waved his phone. I ordered takeout for you guys. I'll eat my sister's cooking later, you guys eat takeout. Stingy. Forget it if you don't want to eat. Takeout is just as delicious. Just as he finished speaking, the takeout and Xiangyi's dishes were served at the same time. Xiangyu ordered the crayfish that they often ate, as well as a barbecue wrapped in foil, which was still warm after being unwrapped. Xiangyi made braised pork with quail eggs, braised prawns, braised gourd with ginger sauce, stir-fried vegetables with mushrooms and pork ribs with corn soup. The main dish was curry chicken omelet rice. I made a few home-cooked dishes. Have a taste and see if you like them, Xiangyi said gently. Wander and the others first tasted the crayfish and barbecue. Then, under Xiang Yu's murderous gaze, each of them took a bite of Xiangyi's food. The braised pork was fatty but not greasy. It was soft after being stewed. The fried quail egg had a texture similar to that of a tiger's skin. It was full of sugar-colored syrup. The prawns were light red and glossy, fresh, salty and slightly sweet. The sponge gourd was refreshing and delicious, tender and fragrant. The omelette rice mixed with curry, the unique spiciness of curry and the tender and smooth egg skin were a perfect match. There was nothing more blissful than scooping a big mouthful into one's mouth. This so good. Eat. Delicious. So delicious. What kind of trash is takeout? The group of young teenagers were not even afraid of Xiang Yu. They buried their heads in the food crazily. Bian Yu asked, "Sister, it must be hard for you to descend to the mortal world, right? Sister, do you play games? I'll take you flying. Sister, do you still need a younger brother?" Chapter 343. The youths ate until the corners of their mouths were glossy and their cheeks were puffed up. The netizens commented, "I'm used to it. Miss Yang is really a Mary Sue." Vicissitudes of life lighting up smoke. JPG, I suspect that Sister E has drugged the food. Otherwise, why is everyone eating so happily? Are these still the rebellious and wild kids who made the club manager and coach worry so much? How can they become obedient in front of Xiangyi? While Xiangyi was feeding Xiao Naofu the prawns, the boys turned to look at Shi Sui. Brother Shi Sui. Captain Wander couldn't care less about table manners. While chewing he asked, "Are there any requirements for appearing on your show?" Shi Sui raised her eyebrows and said, "I'm afraid you'll have to ask the director." Wander looked at Li Jinyu and asked, "Uncle, can we appear on your show?" Li Jinyu was confused. "I'm only 2 years older than Shi Sui. Why is Shi Sui her brother and I'm her uncle?" "I'll give you 10 seconds to reorganize your words," Li Jinyu said sternly with a sullen expression. Wander was stunned for a moment before coming to a sudden realization. He exclaimed loudly, "Uncle, can you give us a chance?" Li Jinyu was speechless. The comments section of the live stream was flooded with ha 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 comments. Li Jinyu said calmly, "No, you guys are too expensive, we can't afford to hire you." The esports industry in China was very popular, and with the development of live streaming, the commercial value of esports players was now no less than that of celebrities. It would be fine to hire 1 or 2 people, but with so many of them they really couldn't afford to hire them. Wander immediately exclaimed, "Uncle, I can do it for free." Shui chimed in, "I don't want it either." Xiao Yang said shyly, "As long as I'm full." Li Jinyu was speechless. "Sister E, you're indeed worthy of your reputation. You've saved the program team a 7-figure sum of money with just 1 meal. Isn't it just calling me uncle? What's the big deal? You can even call me grandpa." Li Jinyu revealed a silly smile as if a pie had fallen from the sky. After the meal, the youngsters were all stuffed. They were all slumped on the sofa or beside the coffee table like a group of salted fish. Xiangyi placed Xiao Naofu on the ground, then pointed at Xiangyu and then at herself. "Do you want to stay with Big Brother or come home with me?" Xiangyu was full of confidence. He had doted on Fufu so much that he could get whatever he wanted. He even gave his own bed to Fufu as a cat bed. Therefore, Fufu would definitely choose him. The next second, Xiao Naofu didn't even look at him as it happily jumped into Xiangyi's arms and hummed softly. "Meow, meow, stupid woman. Bring this hoo-hoo home." Xiang Yu's face was filled with disbelief. How could this be? How could this be? Was the love that Fufu had for him all these years all fake? Coincidentally, the camera gave him a close-up, and the netizens in the live stream couldn't stop laughing. So love will disappear, right? DBQ Sameo-gu is really pitiful, but I really want to laugh. Poor Sameo-gu, he's finally going to find out that Xiao Naofu is a green TB***. Xiangyi carried Xiao Naofu in her arms and got ready to leave. "Wait." Xiang Yu suddenly called out to her, his eyes falling on her arms. "Fufu, is there something that I haven't done well enough?" Xiao Naofu blinked its clear, ice blue cat eyes and meowed. "Meow meow, goodbye big brother. I'll miss you." Xiang Yu gazed at it deeply and said in a low voice, "Fufu, I'll come and see you." Xiao Naofu turned its head and nestled in Xiangyi's arms with a mischievous smile. "Miss you? No way. Sad. No way. Hee, I'm just pretending." Chapter 344. This scene was completely recorded by the camera. Li Jinyu's original intention was to film Smog and Cat 2.0, but to his surprise he managed to capture the scene of the scumbag Xiao Naofu. Green tea Xiao Naofu, scumbag cat. Damn it, this smile is so smart, it's really smart. I suggest everyone hit the scumbag Xiao Naofu on the public chat. Everyone thought that apart from Shi Sui, Xiao Naofu was invincible. However, when Xiangyi and the others returned to the manor, they discovered that there was an adorable little Shiba Inu at home. Its back was light yellow, and its belly was cream-colored. Its eyes were watery and it was lying on the ground obediently. Sangchen said coldly, "This is a dog that uncle's friend gave him. He wants you to take care of it for him for a few days. Its name is," he reluctantly said, "Little Shiji." The man, who was as cold as a snow-capped mountain, uttered these 3 words with an inexplicably cute accent. Xiangyi asked, "Little lion?" "Its fur color does resemble a lion." Sangchen said sternly, "It's little Shiji." "Okay." Xiangyi bent forward and rubbed little Shiji's head tentatively. The little Shiba Inu rubbed against her palm obediently. "Woof, it's so cute, I'll make you some delicious food later." Woof woof. When Xiao Naofu saw this scene, it instantly felt as if the world was collapsing. Am I not this stupid woman's favorite? She actually wants to. She's going to cook for this mutt? Xiao Naofu was so infuriated that he scurried over on his short legs and roared at little Shiji. Meow. Meow. Little Shiji, Omega. It stared at Xiao Naofu for a few seconds and took the initiative to lick Xiao Naofu's fur to show its friendliness. Xiao Naofu thought, "Ah, damn it, my body is so dirty." It waved its paws angrily and slapped little Shiji's face. Little Shiji did not retaliate after being hit and simply took a few steps back, feeling a little aggrieved. Xiao Naofu refused to give up and wanted to hit it again. Its body was suddenly suspended in the air. Xiangyi had picked it up. The little cat felt so wrong that it wanted to die. Meow meow meow, let this dog go. I'm the only one in this house. Xiao Naofu, it's only staying for a few days. Xiangyi tried to reason with it. Little uncle will take it away when the time comes. Xiao Naofu, I won't listen, I won't listen. It wriggled and broke free from Xiangyi's arms. It jumped onto the table and chose Xiangyi's cup. It waved its meaty claws and moved the cup to the edge of the table. Meow. Li Jinyu said in surprise, "Is it threatening you, Sister E?" Xiangyi. I think so. Little Shiji had no idea what was going on at all. It rubbed Xiangyi's calf affectionately, seemingly wanting her to rub its head. Seeing this scene, Xiao Naofu fumed and turned on its little jerk mode. Bang! The cup fell to the ground. Still not appeased, Xiao Naofu jumped onto the sofa and stepped on Tutu's plushie a few times. It then sat down aggrievedly and shook its chubby body while sobbing. Xiangyi's heart immediately softened. How could she bear to scold it? Just as she was thinking about how to coax Xiao Naofu, Shi Sui stuffed something into her hand. Xiangyi looked down to see that it was little Shiji's leash. Sister E, let's go walk the dog, she said without mentioning Xiao Naofu. However, Xiao Naofu leaped over like a whirlwind. Meow. Its tone became more and more childish and pitiful. Meow meow, stupid woman, you're not allowed to walk this dog. At most, I'll let you walk it, okay? Chapter 345. 5 minutes later. Shi Sui held onto little Shiji's leash while Xiangyi carried Xiao Naofu in her arms. The two of them took a stroll in the shade of the garden. Xiao Naofu rested its meaty paws on Xiangyi's shoulder and gave little Shiji a smug look. Little Shiji barked foolishly. Woof. Xiao Naofu humped. It then glanced at Shi Sui smugly. A dog-like man walking a dog. What a perfect match. Shi Sui raised her eyebrows with a look that seemed to be saying, I advise you not to be so arrogant. Xiao Naofu was speechless. I'm scared. It hugged Xiangyi tightly and said in a childish voice, Meow. Xiangyi said helplessly, Xiao Naofu, how many meals do you eat a day at Fourth Brother's place? It had only been a few days and it had obviously gained weight. Xiao Naofu felt extremely guilty. Well, I just have 3 meals a day plus canned food, dried meat, dried fish, nutrition cream, hair removal cream, and some snacks. Shi Sui said, Actually, I have a way to make Xiao Naofu and little Shiji live in harmony. Xiangyi's eyes lit up. Huh. Shi Sui pushed her glasses up her nose and said with a smile, Why don't we send Xiao Naofu away? Xiao Naofu was speechless. Listen, is that even human? Shi Sui winked at Xiangyi. The girl understood and cooperated with him tacitly. I think we should give it to second brother. He'll definitely design a scientific and nutritious meal plan. It'll be just nice for Xiao Naofu to lose weight. Second brother? Isn't that the devil Xiangli? If I go, won't I be taken to be sterilized? Xiao Naofu panicked. Meow, I don't want to go to second brother's place. Shui said nonchalantly, little Shiji is so obedient and eats so little. It can even guard the house. Xiao Naofu's ears twitched and it meowed anxiously. Meow meow meow. This hoo-hoo can also be obedient. I can also be obedient. I can also eat less. As for guarding the house, it also can. Therefore, in order to express its ferocity, Xiao Naofu made its fiercest expression. Woof woof woof. Xiangyi tried hard to hold back her laughter and quietly mouthed to Shui, is it really okay for us to trick it like this? Shui's expression did not change. Children will only grow up after being beaten up. Little Shiji, woof. His dark eyes were filled with confusion. He seemed to be wondering if Xiao Naofu was his own kind. Shui praised her, well, not bad. She screamed so fiercely that the bad guys must have been scared away. Xiao Naofu was elated by the praise. Little Shiji responded heartlessly, woof woof. But in Xiao Naofu's eyes, this dog was provoking it. Brr. Woof woof. Woof. Woof woof woof. Xiangyi couldn't help but turn her face away and laugh. Not far away, Li Jinyu was squatting on the steps, completely convinced. Daddy, sure, even a dog isn't as good as you? He looked at the screen of his cell phone, feeling very vexed. Just a few minutes ago, Li Jinyu received a message from his friend, saying that Muyao TV's livestream program, Eating Well for All 3 Meals, was also going to premiere in a primetime slot on the satellite channel. The format of Eating Well for All 3 Meals was a complete copy of Two Under One Roof, which was already enough to make Li Jinyu feel frustrated. Now that one of them was going to premiere online and the other on a satellite channel, he felt even more upset. Although the television industry was declining and there hadn't been a variety show that broke the 2% rating for a long time, broadcasting on television meant that it had a greater influence and a wider audience. Chapter 346. On the other hand, if Two Under One Roof was only broadcasted on the internet, the audience would still be mostly young people. At present, Two Under One Roof was far ahead of the rest in terms of viewership ratings. However, if one day the popularity of Eating Well for All 3 Meals increased, perhaps Li Gui would become Li Kui in the eyes of the public. Are the efforts of the production team Shui and Sister Yi going to go down the drain just like that? On Friday, the thing that Li Jinyu was most worried about happened. Eating Well for All 3 Meals premiered on Muyao TV and other major online platforms during the primetime slot at 8 o'clock. Due to the novel theme, Zhui Yi, who was a martial arts star, and Jiang Yuner, who was a famous singer with countless hit songs, the viewership ratings exceeded 1.8% within 10 minutes of the broadcast. This was almost the highest viewership ratings for a domestic variety show in the past 3 years. In terms of online viewership, Eating Well for All 3 Meals was also ahead of Two Under One Roof, and the gap between them seemed to be widening. Gradually, some negative comments began to appear on the internet. Eating Well for All 3 Meals is so interesting. I strongly recommend it, but what the hell is Two Under One Roof? Is it plagiarism? Muyao TV is awesome. This is the first time that our whole family can watch a variety show together. Two Under One Roof is so disgusting. They're just following the trend. Zhui Yi and Jiang Yun have been married for so many years, but they're still so sweet. This is what love looks like at its best. Previously, Shui and Xiangyi were all the talk about being a couple every day. I just want to say that what's fake can't be real and what's real can't be fake. When Li Jinyu saw these comments, he was so angry that he almost smashed his cell phone. Admittedly, he knew that Muyao TV must have done something such as hiring fake reviewers to spread rumors, but there were even more people who began to criticize Two Under One Roof without knowing the truth at all. Li Jinyu looked at Xiangyi, who was cooking in the kitchen. The girl's hair was tied into a bun, and her movements were neat and tidy. Shui, who was beside her, although one of her arms was injured, she was still helping out, such as passing things or interacting with the netizens. In fact, it was very tiring to do a live broadcast every day, and the duration had long exceeded the original contract they had signed. However, Shui and Xiangyi had never complained, and the staff of the program were also holding their breaths. They wanted to turn Two Under One Roof into the most popular variety show of the summer. But what should he do now? Li Jinyu was at a loss. It wasn't that he hadn't thought of having Two Under One Roof broadcast on TV, but he had been working at Muyao TV for so many years, so his connections were limited. He was just a variety show director and he didn't have much say in it. The higher-ups of other satellite TV stations were not people he could come into contact with. Not good, Director Li. The assistant ran over in a low voice and showed him the comments in the live broadcast room. Li Jinyu's expression changed drastically. Is this the show that plagiarized eating well for all 3 meals? Jianghu is cooking and you're cooking too? Have some shame. Sure Sui originally had a good impression of him, but I didn't expect him to have no bottom line. He's really willing to do anything for money. I'm dying of laughter. They're a real couple and that's called showing off their love. They're not lovers at all, yet they're still trying to hype things up. They're really imitating others. Someone in the live broadcast room tried to explain, but the new viewers didn't listen at all. They left after scolding and then new viewers flooded in. Li Jianyu couldn't help but curse. The assistant was worried. Director Li, what should we do now? If this goes on, the reputation of our show will be ruined. All of a sudden, the crisp sound of high heels could be heard from afar. Chapter 347. Duh. Every sound was like the beat of a drum, hitting his heart rhythmically. Good evening, Director Li. A familiar female voice sounded in Li Jianyu's ears. He turned around and was stunned. Director Ruan? It was Ruan Qing, the deputy director of Muyao TV. Ruan Qing's vision and ability were unquestionable. Back then he had several variety show proposals, but no one was interested in them at first. Every time, Ruan Qing was the one who recognized his talent and helped him get a few popular TV variety shows. I've already resigned. Ruan Qing was wearing a blouse, a long skirt and a geometric patterned scarf. Her makeup was exquisite and proper, and she exuded the elegant charm of a mature woman. Li Jianyu rubbed his hands helplessly and asked, "Is that so? May I know what brings you here today?" As a social worker, he was still a little nervous when facing his former boss. Ruan Qing chuckled and said, "I saw the recruitment notice for your program." Li Jianyu was confused. Ruan Qing pulled out a document from her bag and said, "This is my resume." Li Jianyu was dumbfounded. He was dumbfounded and looked at this scene in disbelief. In the glass greenhouse, the warm-toned glass lamps refracted magnificent and bright colors. In just a few minutes, Ruan Qing had successfully joined 2 under 1 roof. Li Jianyu accepted this reality in a trance. He felt that he could go to the social worker discussion group and post about it. There would definitely be a lot of clicks. Hashtag about how I became the boss of my beautiful ex-boss and had to tell you about it. Hashtag that's right. Ruan Qing joined the planning team of 2 under 1 roof, and even became the team leader. Since the live stream was still going on, Li Jianyu explained, "When we're done I'll get everyone to say hello to you." Okay. Ruan Qing switched to work mode and took out a tablet from her bag to show Li Jianyu the PowerPoint she had prepared in advance. She said in a professional manner, "There are many reasons for the public opinion crisis that 2 under 1 roof encountered today. First of all, the people who watch live streams and variety shows overlap, but not completely. At present, live streams and variety shows account for half of the video entertainment industry in our country. The explanation is very simple, and that is, 2 under 1 roof has been promoted." Promotion meant that it was broadcasted on TV. Li Jianyu smiled bitterly. "I've thought of that too, but it's not something that can be done just because you want to." Ruan Qing took a sip of her coffee. "Director Li, may I ask if our production team has a complete promotion and salary increase plan?" Li Jianyu thought she was joking. "You're now the second in command of our show. If you get promoted again you'll be the first in command." Ruan Qing, "I think it's fine." Li Jianyu was confused. "What about me? I'll be the first in command and you'll be the second in command." Li Jianyu, "Xiao Ruan, you're too funny, ha." As he laughed, he felt that something was amiss and said weakly, "You can't be serious, right?" Ruan Qing smiled. With the broadcast of the television version of Eating Well for All 3 Meals, there were more and more comments mocking 2 under 1 roof on the internet. TSK, the online premiere of Eating Well for All 3 Meals, has already exceeded 18 million views. 2 under 1 roof only has 50 million views. What a joke. When Sure Sui was still a newbie, she spoke rudely to our best actor Zhua. She's a junior who doesn't know how to be polite. Sooner or later she'll be beaten up. What live stream has more than 10 million online viewers? I think half of them are just rubbish. If it's really that impressive, how can it be an online variety show? Chapter 348. People tend to have preconceived notions. Now that everyone saw Eating Well for All 3 Meals on TV, they naturally thought that Eating Well for All 3 Meals was the real thing, and 2 under 1 roof was a fake. As for which variety show aired first and whose idea came first, they didn't even bother to check it all and simply began to criticize. Zhuo Yi's fans in particular had been clinging on to Sure Sui. When Sure Sui first debuted, she had collaborated with Zhuo Yi in a movie and it was revealed that a newcomer had spoken rudely to a senior and was suspected of being arrogant. Later, Zhu Yi won double Best Actor awards and kept mocking Shi Sui about it. However, later on, Shi Sui won triple Best Actor awards and was the youngest person in the entertainment industry to win the Grand Slam Best Actor awards. Hence, Zhu Yi's fans didn't dare to criticize her. Until today, this old grudge was brought up again. At 9 o'clock, the live stream ended. Li Jianghu gathered the staff in the yard and introduced Ruan Qing to everyone. "This is Sister Ruan, my boss." Everyone was dumbfounded. "Huh? Director Li's boss?" Li Jianghu said bitterly. "In short, Sister Ruan is now in charge of the planning and public relations of our program. You just have to remember that she's the boss of our program." He felt that this title would also go viral on the social media forum. #Hello everyone, I'm the boss. I found myself a boss. Although everyone was dumbfounded, they still greeted Ruan Qing in a friendly and obsequious manner. "Hello, Sister Ruan. Sister Ruan, when can we get a raise?" "Sister Ruan, I want to report Director Li and old Jianghu for secretly eating chicken." Most of the people in the program were young people. Although life was a little tough, everyone had something to aspire to and the atmosphere was particularly good. Ruan Qing naturally had no problem dealing with such a situation. However, she was used to the scheming in Wuxia TV, but in the face of such simple and pure enthusiasm, she was at a loss for what to do. "Do you want to have supper?" At the door of the villa, Jianghu poked her head out and asked. "I cooked some preserved egg and lean meat porridge." Everyone was eager to eat and looked at Ruan Qing eagerly. Ruan Qing didn't put on airs and said with a smile, "Go ahead." Everyone cheered in unison and swarmed into the kitchen. After a while, Jianghu came out with porridge and side dishes. Shi Sui was with her. Shi Sui had dealt with Ruan Qing before, so she took the initiative to greet her. "Sister Ruan." Ruan Qing nodded in acknowledgement, and her gaze shifted to Jianghu. The girl's temperament was calm, and her dimples were shallow when she smiled. "Hello, Sister Ruan." "Hello, Miss Yang." Jianghu asked, "Do you want to try supper?" Ruan Qing, "Then I'm in for a treat." They sat down in the pavilion. Ruan Qing tasted the porridge and suddenly paused. She seemed to have understood something. Jianghu's cooking was indeed delicious. But, apart from that, there was something else. It was an irresistible warmth. Perhaps coming here was the right choice. 10 minutes later. The haters were flaming two under one roof, the most. The official Weibo account of Nanqing TV suddenly posted a Weibo post. Nanqing TV. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, stay tuned to Nanqing TV to watch the first episode of the first season of the first domestic live-streaming variety show. Be there or be square. The official Weibo account of Two Under One Roof immediately reposted the Weibo post, causing a huge uproar online. What the heck? Who's laughing at Two Under One Roof? Does your face hurt? Nanqing TV is an official TV channel. Ah, this is amazing. Chapter 349. Haha, this YWR fan is proud and elated. No matter how awesome Wuxia TV is, it's just a local TV station. Nanqing TV is an official TV station. This is the prestige. In the Wuxia TV group chat. After Nanqing Satellite TV posted that Weibo, the group immediately held a video conference. The station head flew into a rage. What the hell is going on? Why would Ruan Qing join Two Under One Roof? How did Two Under One Roof get Nanqing Satellite TV's resources? For a moment, no one dared to speak. After a long silence, someone said in a low voice, "I heard that Ruan Qing has been in contact with people from Nanqing Satellite TV recently." "I heard about it too." When the station head heard this, he almost died from anger. "Then why didn't you say so earlier?" Of course, they all felt that Ruan Qing was just a woman. What could she do? That was an official satellite TV station. Would they care about a woman like her? They thought that Ruan Qing at most wanted to work in Nanqing Satellite TV and be a small leader. Who would have thought that she actually reached a cooperation with Nanqing Satellite TV? Eating well for all three meals was never as popular as Two Under One Roof. Even if their production team had arranged all kinds of scripts for Zhu Yi and Jiang Yun to show off their love, quarrel, and fight with the guests, the number of viewers would never exceed 10 million. The popularity of the last live variety show, Heartbeat, had plummeted. It was only supported by the die-hard fans of the guests. The sponsors were all eager to get back their previous investments, let alone increase their investment. Now it was all thanks to Wuxia TV. Now that they had finally come up with a plan to snipe Two Under One Roof, they had to take advantage of the premiere of Two Under One Roof on the internet. They had to do a TV and online premiere, then fight a war of public opinion and try to steal the popularity of Two Under One Roof. As a result, Two Under One Roof was about to be broadcast on TV as well. Nanjing Satellite TV, one level higher than Muyao Satellite TV. The station head was furious. Trash. A bunch of trash. You can't even compare to a woman. There was dead silence in the video conference. No one dared to say that the station head was the one who forced that woman to leave. Muyao TV suffered the consequences of their own actions, and Zhuyi's fans were also rebuked by the Shui sisters. Youngest Grand Slam Best Actor Sui Suazi Heartsuit Viewership Record Holder Television Emperor Sui Suazi Heartsuit Light of Acting Sui Suazi Heartsuit First Class Business Sui Suazi Heartsuit. Acting like a big shot? Did they really think that the internet had no memory? Who was the one who pretended to fight for real and broke Sui's ribs? Back then Zhui left his image as a single male god. Now he's the equivalent of an idol. He hid his marriage to deceive his fans and then created a couple after marriage. Where did he find the face to step on our Shurindi? The Shui sisters' fighting prowess was not to be underestimated. Previously, in order to help Two Under One Roof control the comments, they had scattered the crowd. Now that they had gathered together, they were able to defeat Zhuyi's fans in minutes. That night the internet was extremely lively. Netizens from all walks of life stayed up late to watch the show. What? So Zhuyi had deliberately broken Shurindi's bones during filming? What? Sui's ribs were broken, but she still managed to shoot the scene in one shot. Godly acting skills? What? So Shui had misogyny? The only female celebrity he had ever had physical contact with was Xiangyi? On the one hand, the fans of the untimely couple felt sorry for Shui, but on the other hand it didn't stop them from falling head over heels. The next day, early in the morning, the official account of Two Under One Roof announced the guests that would be coming today. Chapter 350. Two Under One Roof. Please sign here for today's surprise. We are fortunate to have invited the movie queen Zhongyi to participate in today's live stream. There are also two mystery guests. Everyone, please look forward to it. We actually managed to invite Zhongyi. Zhongyi had excellent acting skills and gorgeous looks, but she was often attacked by others because of her sexy image in the early days of her debut. Her most famous film was Dustless, which was a collaboration with Shui. In the film, Shui played a detective who belonged to the good side, while Zhongyi played a dancer who was both good and evil. She had a secret relationship with Shui. The director formed many artistic metaphors through their relationship, and the two of them also displayed superb acting skills, which were regarded as classics in the film industry. The two of them were about the same age, and Zhongyi was 30 years old this year. When the film was released, many people were shocked by their acting skills in the film and mistakenly thought that they were a real couple. Hence, the two of them were rather popular in the industry. The reason was that Shui had never interacted with any actresses before. Some of Zhongyi's fans immediately expressed, "Her Highness has arrived. Zhongyi and Zhongyi CP are worth investing in." When Shui was interviewed, he said that he liked Zhongyi's type very much. Ha, there's going to be a good show to watch. Zhongyi is the beautiful type. Vase Fairy is going to be crushed by a beauty like Zhongyi in seconds. Seeing how Zhongyi's fans were being ridiculed, Xiangyi's fans were displeased. Is our sister Yi someone you can bully as you please? Hence, Zhongyi's fans were taught a lesson early in the morning. They were dumbfounded. Is this Xiangyi that popular? Why does she have so many fans? The live stream began at 9 o'clock in the morning. The loyal fans of Two Under One Roof immediately swarmed into the live stream. The camera panned to a distant view of the mountains in the distance, where the colorful windmills of Little Rabbit Farm were rotating in the wind. The vegetable fields were fertile, the garden was lush, and there were flocks of chickens and ducks. In the yard, Xiao Naofu and Little Shiji were fighting. To be more precise, Xiao Naofu was bullying Little Shiji. She refused to drink her goat milk and insisted on snatching the milk from Little Shiji's bowl. The little Shiba Inu's black eyes were wet. It didn't fight back even after being hit a few times by Xiao Naofu's fleshy paws. It even gave the goat milk to Xiao Naofu. The netizens in the live stream. Hooligan acts. Sterilization warning. Wow, the Shiba Inu is so cute. What a cute little puppy. Have I been drinking too much sugar lately? I think Little Shiji is spoiling Xiao Naofu a little. Haha, you don't have to. I saw the staff post yesterday. Although the two of them are of different species, they are of the same gender. Nothing good will happen if they get together. After the heartwarming scene was shot, the camera turned to the entrance of the manor. The black iron gate was covered in vines and roses. Zhongyi, who was wearing a red V-neck dress, got out of the car with a strong aura. Her black high heels made her fair and straight legs look even longer. She was plump but not fat. She combed her wavy long hair, and as an actress she accurately found the camera and smiled. Bullet comments in the live stream. "Aw sister, kill me." Zhong Yi's smile is so enchanting that it makes all the beauties pale in comparison. Zhong Yi is such a queen. I finally get the charm of a 30-year-old sister. Vase Fairy really can't compare to her. In the next second, Zhong Yi turned around and got out of the car. She carried out a little bun who was wearing a princess dress and had her hair in a bun. She was also holding a rainbow lollipop tightly in her chubby little hand. Chapter 351. The netizens were dumbfounded. What the hell? Where did this child come from? Someone asked, could it be Zhong Yi's baby? As soon as the bullet screen was posted, Zhong Yi's fans immediately burst into laughter. Please don't spread rumors. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. Smile? How did you know? Did you deliver her baby? If not, then shut up, okay? The production crew was also dumbfounded. However, Ruan Qing was present and made a few gestures to Li Jianyu. Li Jianyu coughed and picked up the microphone to greet Zhong Yi from behind the camera. Zhong Yi, welcome to Two Under One Roof. I wish you a happy day. He didn't mention the child because he didn't want to make Zhong Yi feel awkward. Zhong Yi nodded. Hello everyone. She looked at the little bun in her arms with a gentle gaze. This is my daughter Jianghu. The production crew was speechless. The netizens were speechless. The corners of Li Jianyu's mouth twitched. What kind of luck is this? Today's hot search is going to be dominated by their variety show again. The executives of Muyao TV, who were secretly watching the live broadcast of Two Under One Roof, Next Door, almost vomited blood when they heard this. Another hot topic. Why did Two Under One Roof have to face it? They had spent hundreds of millions of yuan to invite Zhuo Yi and Jiang Yun'er, and the guest remuneration for each episode ranged from millions to tens of millions. As far as they knew, Two Under One Roof didn't pay a high notice fee, mainly because they had always invited veteran actors and actresses. They only charged a friendship price, which was a few 100,000 yuan at most. When Xiangyi's family came, none of them asked for money. Instead, her third brother Hades had to fork out a lot of money, not to mention the president of the Chinese Medicine Association, the brothers of C7, and the upcoming Logic team came for free, low-cost, high-return. That was enough to make people green with envy. This variety show has its own hot topics. For example, when Xiangyi played the Sanxian, the folk music bigwigs on Weibo, the Chinese Music Association, the cruelty exposed in the Mingxi Boys High School incident, and the subsequent reflection on education. Not to mention when Xiangyi's brothers exposed themselves, it brought about a lot of attention. But now Zhong Yi had exposed that she had a daughter. The director of Muyao TV was so angry that his eyes turned red. If he had kept Li Jianyu in the beginning, wouldn't all the achievements and popularity brought about by Two Under One Roof be his glory? Jiang's facial features were soft and adorable, and her eyes were young and round. She seemed to be very shy as she hugged her mother's neck tightly. Zhong Yi asked her to greet the others, but she didn't say a word. However, when Zhong Yi carried her to the courtyard and saw Shi Sui who went out to greet the guests, Jiang blinked. Shi Sui greeted her politely. Good morning, Senior Zhong. Zhong Yi was only 3 years older than him, but she had been in the industry for over 10 years. She was his senior. Long time no see. You're so fat now, Zhong Yi joked. I guess you've been eating well lately. Shi Sui chuckled. Is it that obvious? As soon as she said that, the little bun in Zhong Yi's arms suddenly reached out a hand toward Shi Sui. Papa? In an instant, Li Jianyu's vision turned black and he almost fainted. Father? Father sure has a daughter? Oh no, not only am I going to be on the hot search list today, my Weibo is going to be paralyzed. Shi Sui raised her eyebrows and asked, Are you Jiang? Yes. Papa, hug. The little girl reached out her chubby and milky white arms toward Shi Sui. Li Jianyu's vision turned even darker when he saw Xiangyi who appeared behind Shi Sui. Xiao Ruan, when I faint later, can you help me pinch my philtrum? Ruan Qing squinted and asked, Xiao Ruan? Li Jianyu was on the verge of breaking down. Is this the time to be fussing over what to call me? Chapter 352. Sister Ruan, is that enough? Ruan Qing pondered for a few seconds and said, You'll faint later, let's see how things go first. If you faint now, it'll affect your work. Sister Ruan, you're such a capitalist. Xiangyi was obviously stunned when she heard the soft and adorable word Papa. Shi Sui's daughter? How is that possible? Even though her rationality told her that the probability was slim, she strangely felt a sense of suffocation in her heart. She was also a little frustrated. Shui didn't like children. He didn't hug Jiang and instead rubbed her little head. Jiang, I'm not your father. However, Jiang was very firm and she exclaimed in a childish voice, You are Papa. The comments section of the live stream exploded. Oh my gosh. Jiang is Shui and Zhongyi's daughter? No wonder Zhongyi retired for a long time a few years ago. She must have gone to give birth to Shui's child. Shui is toxic. Your child has already called you Papa, yet you refuse to acknowledge her? Is your own flesh and blood not as important as your character? All the major marketing companies swarmed in and those who were quick enough had already written eye-catching drafts. Shocking. Shui's biological daughter has been exposed. She's actually, Shui and Zhongyi's relationship has come to fruition. I believe in love again. Zhongyi is the empress of the Empress Dowager. She's a shameless homewrecker. There were those who were just there to watch the show, those who were trying to ride on the hype, and those who were making things up. All of a sudden rumors and slanders spread at the fastest speed. The number of viewers in the live stream of Two Under One Roof skyrocketed, and in just a few minutes, the number of viewers had already risen to millions. While everyone was watching, Zhongyi said indifferently, Jiang, you've got the wrong person. Mommy? Jiang blinked her grape-like eyes and tears began to well up in her eyes. Mommy, you're lying. Zhongyi naturally changed the subject. Jiang, there's a kitty over there. Don't you like kitty the most? Jiang was only 3 years old and was at the age when her attention was easily diverted. When she saw Xiao Naofu, her eyes lit up and she fluttered her little legs. Mommy, I want to go down. Zhongyi put her on the ground, and the little girl bounced towards Xiao Naofu, looking carefree and innocent. Zhongyi tried to make light of it, but the netizens didn't buy it. Zhongyi must be hiding something. That's it? The denial is too weak. I was only 30% convinced just now, but judging by Zhongyi's attitude, I'm 70% convinced that she's having an affair with Shui. Miss Yang. Zhongyi had watched some videos of Two Under One Roof before she came, so she recognized Xiangyi. Xiangyi stepped forward and greeted him politely. Do you have any tasks for me? Zhongyi asked. Li Jinyu continued, today's task is to change pots and fertilize the plants. Then we have to build a fence around the vegetable field. Zhongyi nodded, indicating that she got it. She asked Xiangyi, where's the room? I'd like to change into some lighter clothes. Senior, this way please. Xiangyi brought her to change her clothes. The two of them were polite and distant, but that was actually normal. After all, they didn't know each other before. However, in the eyes of the netizens, countless meanings were interpreted. Zhongyi is really like an empress. The vase fairy is like a maid in contrast. Tiske, I feel like a battle is about to start. Zhongyi has such a good figure, she can easily defeat Xiangyi. Zhongyi has been working with Shui since 5 years ago. A certain female celebrity is considered to have interfered in their relationship. Chapter 353. The netizens were having a great time gossiping about the emotional entanglements between celebrities. All of a sudden, all sorts of speculations popped up. Some said that Shui and Zhongyi had a one-night stand, and that Shui abandoned Zhongyi and her mother after becoming famous. Some said that Shui and Zhongyi had long been married in secret, just like Zhuyi and Jiang Yun. They were going to announce it today. Xiangyi, on the other hand, had become the third party in the public opinion. While the others were talking, Zhongyi changed her clothes and came out of the bathroom. She was wearing a black singlet, tight-fitting sweatpants, and a large oversized jacket. The gender-neutral sportswear style neutralized the sexiness of her figure, making her look clean and suave. Zhongyi's fans immediately started praising her, and they didn't forget to criticize Xiangyi. Sister looks so beautiful in sportswear. Best actress Zhongyi. Movie queen who can charm and defeat. Sister's figure is really like the ceiling of female celebrities. Vase fairy who relies on her face to make a living, stand back. In the next second, Xiangyi also appeared in front of the camera. She didn't change out of her clothes and simply took off her cute apron. Inside, she was wearing a blue short-sleeved shirt with a few daisies dotted on her chest. She was also wearing a pair of high-waisted, wide-legged pants that accentuated her long legs and slender waist. His outfit was simple, languid, and casual, but it made it impossible for one to look away. The comments in the live stream seemed to have lagged, and it took a few seconds for the comments to be refreshed. I have a similar short-sleeved shirt. So the daisies on her chest look like they're in full bloom? To be honest, I don't usually think that Xiangyi is very good looking, but when I compare her to Zhongyi, I realize that she's really beautiful. I'm dying of laughter. Is this your first day surfing the internet? Do you really think anyone can be called a vase fairy? The word vase is enough to prove that she's worth it. Coincidentally, Xiangyi and Zhongyi were in the same frame. There was only hurt when there was a comparison. Zhongyi's fans realized that Xiangyi seemed to be fairer, slimmer, and her breasts. *CK. What the hell did you eat when you were growing up? Xiangyi demonstrated at once. She just took out the plants and soil from the flower pot and put them into a bigger flower pot. She then added nutritious soil and slow-release fertilizer. You can put some of these insecticides into the soil to prevent pests from appearing. For slow-release fertilizer, just sprinkle it around like this. Xiangyi explained the steps very patiently. Some netizens noticed that the pots of flowers she gave to Zhongyi were all small and light, while the ones she gave to Zhongyi were bigger. Someone praised, "Sister E is really gentle. Love love." There were also people who scolded, "Isn't he just trying to perform in front of the camera? Prove that you're doing more work than Zhongyi, scheming woman." When Xiangyi got up to pick up a pot of flowers from the flower rack, her short sleeves rolled up along with her movements, revealing her slender waist and skin that was glowing under the sunlight. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the comments section of the live stream changed. Sister Yi's back isn't a back, it's a Bulgarian rose. Sister Yi's waist isn't a waist, it's a deadly scimitar. Ah, hurry up and block Xiangyi's view. Mommy won't allow others to see Xiangyi's waist. At this moment, Zhongyi's fans in the live stream no longer had the cheek to dish Xiangyi with her beauty and figure. After all, the feeling of being slapped in the face was too uncomfortable. Chapter 354. Zhongyi looked up and inadvertently saw this scene. Just as she was thinking about how to tactfully remind Xiangyi, a tall figure suddenly appeared behind Xiangyi and happened to block the camera. Xiangyi turned around with the flower pot in her arms and blinked in confusion when she saw Shui behind her. The girl's short-sleeved shirt returned to normal as she turned around. Shui took the flower pot from her hand and their fingertips accidentally brushed against each other. Shui didn't show any discomfort and asked casually, "How much pottery?" "Just a thin layer to cover the bottom of the pot." Shui nodded slightly and went to the side to put the pottery into the flower pot one by one. The two of them got along harmoniously and naturally. A strange look flashed across Zhongyi's eyes. As someone who had acted with Shui before, she knew how powerful Shui's misogyny was. The two of them had once filmed dozens of scenes but still failed. In the end, the director had no choice but to give up and replace the physical contact with a confrontation of the eyes. At that time, she was very curious about what to do if such a man really fell in love with her. However, she now realized that Shui didn't seem to resist physical contact with Xiangyi. "Mommy." Jiang's call pulled Zhongyi back from her wandering thoughts. She turned around and saw that Jiang was hugging Xiao Naofu with a bright smile on her face. Xiao Naofu was in despair. Why are human cubs so annoying? However, it didn't dare to struggle. It heard that human cubs were very fragile and Xiao Naofu was afraid that it would hurt the cub with a casual swipe of its paw. Hence, it was bullied by Jiang to the point that it had nothing to live for. Jiang exclaimed, "Mommy, this kitty can bark like a dog." Xiao Naofu protested, "Meow. I'm not a cat. I don't bark like a dog. That's clearly the roar of a fierce tiger." "Kitty, can you bark?" Jiang's clear eyes were full of anticipation. Xiao Naofu coldly turned his face away and ignored her. Zhongyi said helplessly, "Jiang, you can't bully Kitty." "Okay." Little Loli pouted and placed Xiao Naofu on the ground. Xiao Naofu, as if it had been granted amnesty, rushed towards Xiangyi. But halfway through he was grabbed by the back of his neck. "Sister E is busy." "Don't disturb Sister E," Shui said with a smile. "Do you want me to play with you? How about a kiss?" Xiao Naofu was instantly enraged. "Woof woof woof. Dream on. Wishful thinking dog man." Jiang's eyes widened and she said in admiration, "Wow, Papa is so amazing. It can actually make a kitten bark like a dog." Zhongyi seemed to have thought of something as she remained silent. This scene was seen by the netizens in the live stream. "So loving. It's obvious that he's coaxing his daughter." The look in Zhongyi's eyes is so sad. It must have been hard for her to raise a child all these years. Scumbag Shui. If you have the ability, then make an official announcement. If you don't care, why are you teasing Jiang? She had gotten her father's love and lost it? Are you still human? The netizens were filled with righteous indignation and they immediately imagined Shui as a scumbag father. An untimely couple fan said, Shurindi might be coaxing Xiang Yi too. Immediately he became the target of public criticism and was scolded like a sieve. In their eyes, Shui, Zhongyi and Jiang were a family of three. Xiang Yi was superfluous. It was right to scold the mistress. On the contrary, there was a moral problem. There was a mistake in their thinking. They were openly supporting the mistress. Chapter 355. Most of the time, the more people there were, the more reason there was. As long as the moral high ground was high enough, they could judge others to their heart's content. What was the truth? Was it important? People always believed in what they thought was the truth. Just when the netizens in the live stream thought that they had done justice, Shui rubbed Xiao Naofu's head and placed it in an empty flower pot next to Sister Yi. She said gently, "Don't run around, be careful not to get pricked by the thorns." Xiao Naofu snorted. "I'm not afraid." It waved its paw to show off its power, but it happened to be next to a pot of cactus. Meow 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 meow. The little kitten cried miserably. Xiangyi, who was at the side, wiped her hands and carried Xiao Naofu back to the living room. However, Shui squatted in front of Jiang and said seriously, "Jiang, you have to call me uncle." Jiang felt aggrieved. "But you're daddy?" "I'm not." Shui's voice was gentle, but his attitude was firm. "Jiang, will you call someone else mommy?" Jiang sounded like she was about to cry. "No, why?" "Because I believe you know that if you call someone else mommy, your mommy will be sad. So if you call me daddy, your real daddy will be sad too." Shui tried his best to speak with logic that children could understand, but Jiang still burst into tears. "I'm sorry, Senior Zhong, I hope you can have a good talk with Jiang. I don't want this misunderstanding to continue, okay?" Shui looked at Zhongyi. Zhongyi's lips curled into a bitter smile. Indeed, he hasn't changed. Two contradictory words could appear on Shui at the same time. He was gentle yet cruel. He was really a gentleman most of the time and was polite to everyone. However, in some aspects he refused to take a step back. She originally had some selfish motives, but now it seemed that Shui would not tolerate it at all. Zhongyi closed her eyes and made up her mind. "Jiang, this is Uncle Shui. He's not your father. Your daddy has gone to a faraway place." Jiang sobbed and asked, "Then will I still be able to see daddy?" "We'll never see him again." Zhongyi's voice was trembling. Jiang cried even harder. Zhongyi comforted her with a soft voice. On the other hand, Shui's gaze remained indifferent. It was as if cold blood was flowing under his handsome appearance. In the live stream, countless viewers felt upset because of Jiang's tears. The scumbag must die. Sigh, no matter what the adults are like, what did the children do wrong? Jiang is so pitiful. Zhongyi is clearly putting on a brave front. "I'm going to vomit. I thought the clock couple was real, but I didn't expect Shui to be so selfish. Not only did they not announce it, but they even forced Jiang not to call him daddy. She forced Zhongyi to lie to the child. Shui would probably be drowned by the overwhelming comments if they were converted into spittle." In the living room of the villa, Xiangyi applied some aloe vera gel on Xiao Naofu and bandaged it simply. Li Jianyu and Ruan Qing rushed over in time and gestured for the cameraman to film little Shiji's daily life for a while before telling Xiangyi to turn off the microphone on her clothes. "Sister Yi, Jiang is not Shui's daughter," Li Jianyu explained anxiously. Xiangyi said calmly, "Yes, I know." Li Jianyu heaved a sigh of relief and said, "Sister Yi, you're so smart." Ruan Qing was speechless. What kind of man is this? It was obvious from the little girl's expression that she was jealous. Chapter 356. Li Jianyu was still babbling. "Sister Yi, don't worry, there's nothing going on between Mr. Shi and Zhongyi." Xiangyi said, "Ah, is that so?" Li Jianyu said, "They just worked together in a movie. Because their scenes together were so spectacular, they have a bunch of fans who love them together." Xiangyi said, "Oh, I see. But most of the couples in the entertainment industry are fake. It's either a publicity stunt or just a figment of the imagination of the fans." Ruan Qing covered his mouth and asked with a smile, "How's Xiao Naofu?" "Is alright, it's just a little pricked." Xiangyi placed it in the kitty villa, but Xiao Naofu refused to sleep and insisted on occupying little Shiji's kennel. It lay flat on the ground with its buttocks sticking out. "Maybe you can talk to Shui," Ruan Qing suggested. Xiangyi said calmly, "You've misunderstood. There's nothing for the two of us to talk about. We just work together on a variety show. Most of the couples in the entertainment industry are fake." The two of us are no exception. Ruan Qing coughed, wanting to remind her that Shui was right behind her. However, Xiangyi was still calmly narrating. We're not a real couple. It doesn't matter to me whether he has a child or not. Me too. She paused, seemingly not trying to convince Ruan Qing but trying to hypnotize herself. I'm just a fan of his. The man at the door was tall and slender. He was standing against the light and his handsome face was hidden in the darkness, making it impossible to tell his emotions. Li Jinyu held his breath, not daring to make a sound. What kind of hell is this? Ruan Qing hesitated for a few seconds and asked tentatively, so, you don't like Shui at all? Li Jinyu's gaze was vivid as if to say, Sister Ruan, are you crazy? In the next second, Xiangyi said in a huff, I don't like her. The figure at the door paused stiffly for a few seconds. A moment later the man left. Boom. Li Jinyu's heart was about to break. He hadn't even had the chance to witness the untimely beginning, but was he going to witness the untimely end? But, Ruan Qing asked again, you really don't like it? She smiled and said, Zhongyi and Shui are together now and they have a child together. The three of them seem to be a good family. Li Jinyu looked at Ruan Qing in disbelief. Sister Ruan, why are you fanning the flames? But he didn't expect something unexpected to happen. The room was silent. Xiangyi didn't answer the question. She just held the cat teaser and seriously teased the air. Li Jinyu was confused. Sister Yi, are you blind? Xiao Naofu is obviously in the kennel. Why are you waving the cat stick at the cat kennel? The corners of Ruan Qing's lips curled up. There were some things that could be conveyed without words. She walked up and patted Xiangyi on the shoulder. I forgot to tell you something. Today's two mystery guests are related to you. Xiangyi, Before she finished speaking, a kind and warm voice came from the door. Good girl, Tutu, Grandma is here to see you. Xiangyi's eyes, which were originally gloomy, immediately lit up. Grandma. Madame Xiang entered the entrance and yelled, Old man, since you're already here, why are you standing at the door? Xiang Yin's stubborn voice came from outside the door. What do you know? I'm just enjoying the scenery. Madame Xiang covered her mouth and snickered. She whispered to Xiangyi softly, Ignore him. He got up early in the morning and changed into more than 10 sets of clothes in order to attend your show today. I've never seen such a shameless old man. Chapter 357. Xiangyi imagined old Mr. Xiang changing into different sets of clothes, feeling both touched and teary-eyed. She turned her face away to hide the emotions in her eyes. Madame Xiang sensed that Xiangyi was behaving strangely and raised her hand to touch her little head. Her movements were gentle and affectionate as ever. Did you encounter something that made you upset? Tell me about it. It's nothing. You can lie to others, but you can't lie to Grandma. Madame Xiang coaxed. If you have any grievances, feel free to tell me. Grandpa and Grandma are here to support my dear Tutu. Although Xiang Yin was pacing back and forth outside the door, he kept peeking into the living room from time to time. When he saw the door, he barked angrily, Which blind fool bullied you? Xiangyi sniffed and said, It's really nothing. She was not afraid of being wronged. She was afraid that her family would show her concern after she was wronged. Madame Xiang said in displeasure, What are you yelling for? Are you trying to show off your loud voice? Don't scare my dear Tutu. Xiang Yin was speechless. He gritted his teeth and lowered his voice. Have you forgotten what I taught you when you were a child? If you encounter anything, you must tell your family as soon as possible. The Xiang family taught their children from a young age that their family would always be their strongest support. Hence, the children of the Xiang family were known for being united and the elders were also known for being protective. Xiang Yin once got into a fight with the parents of the naughty child who lifted Xiangyi's skirt in kindergarten. At that time he said, If you don't teach your child a lesson today, I'll teach you a lesson, which was regarded as a classic quote. I didn't forget. Xiangyi smiled, not wanting the two elders to worry about her. Grandpa, Grandma, please take a seat first. I'll go pick some fruits for you. Xiangyi went out with the bamboo basket. Li Jinyu was used to being carefree, so he went back to work. Ruan Qing stayed in the living room for a while and briefly explained what happened just now. She didn't express any subjective emotions and simply stated that Jiang had misunderstood Shui as her father before leaving too. Xiang Yin frowned and said, This rascal, he's not worthy of my granddaughter at all. Madame Xiang took a sip of tea unhurriedly and said, It's your granddaughter's fault for falling in love with him. What did you say? Impossible. That's impossible. Madame Xiang rolled her eyes. If Tutu doesn't like it, do you think it will affect her mood? Xiang Yin fell silent. Xiangyi could be said to have been brought up by them, so they knew the little girl's character best. She was a calm and patient child. She would not be annoyed even if she read a boring medical book for an entire day. She would not cry even if her fingers were to bleed from playing musical instruments. As long as she set her mind on something, she would do it without any distractions. It seemed that nothing could affect her. But now, Shui was one more person who could affect her. At the thought of this, Xiang Yin felt extremely vexed. Madame Xiang was meticulous. She thought about it more than he did. She straightened her collar and said, "I'm going to live stream now. Is the most important thing now? Let our tutu realize her error and mend her ways. Don't let that wretched man steal her away." Madame Xiang looked at him sympathetically and said, "Haven't you ever thought that it's our tutu who wants to steal someone else?" Xiang Yin was dumbfounded. The two old men arrived at the glass greenhouse, and Zhong Yi happened to come out with Jiang. Jiang walked toward Shui, her eyes red from crying. "Uncle, I'm sorry." Shui expressed assent indifferently and picked up the kettle to water the plants that had just been repotted. The corner of his shirt was gently tugged and he looked down. Jiang's eyes were full of anticipation. "Uncle, can you be my daddy?" Chapter 358. Little Lolita was innocent and her eyes were red. If it were anyone else, their heart would have softened. However, Shui was indifferent and he didn't even stop watering the flowers. "I'm sorry, Jiang." Shui didn't say anything else, but Jiang had already understood what he meant. Tears welled up in her big black grape-like eyes and she slowly let go of the corner of Shui's shirt. The viewers of the live stream broke out into an uproar again because of this scene. "I've never seen such a cold-blooded father. Even if she's not his biological daughter, she's still young. What's wrong with coaxing her?" Madame Xiang stepped forward and comforted her softly. "Jiang, do you want some candy?" She took out a toffeecito from her pocket. Shui was speechless. He suddenly understood why Sister Yi's family gave her candy to coax her. Jiang hesitated for a moment, but in the end she couldn't resist the temptation of the candy. She took the toffeecito and said in a soft and tender voice, "Thank you, Grandma." "You're welcome." Madame Xiang was very approachable and she was the kind of grandmother who was especially popular with children. "Jiang, can you tell Grandma why you call this uncle Daddy?" Jiang looked at Shui and then at Zhong Yi. After a while she said slowly, "Because Mommy showed me a photo of Daddy. Uncle and Daddy look very alike." "But just because they look alike doesn't mean that they're the same person, right?" Jiang nodded. Madame Xiang easily dealt with little Lolita and looked up at Shui. "Shui, Grandma watched you grow up and I believe you're a responsible man. Is Jiang your daughter?" The netizens in the live stream immediately perked up. Will the tables turn this time? However, Shui sighed helplessly and said, "Grandma, I've never even had a girlfriend before. How can I have a daughter?" The netizens were flabbergasted. "Is this for real?" Shui is still denying it. Not far away, Zhong Yi's face turned pale. She pursed her lips and tried to change the subject. "Where's Miss Xiang? I want to ask her how much insecticide she put in." Madame Xiang suddenly asked, "Miss Zhong, forgive me for being nosy, but may I ask if Shui is Jiang's biological father?" Madame Xiang's intuition told her that there was something wrong with Zhong Yi. Her attitude was too vague. This naturally made it easy for people to misunderstand. It was clearly something that could be explained in one sentence, but she kept avoiding the important points and dwelling on the trivial ones. It was inevitable that she would give people space to let their imaginations run wild. The old lady looked elegant and gentle, but in fact she had a strong vibe. Her eyes seemed to be able to see through people's hearts. Seeing her, Zhong Yi's heart skipped a beat. She clenched her fists and said hoarsely, "Is it that important?" Jiang misunderstood and her eyes lit up again. "Mommy, are you lying to me? Is uncle an uncle or papa?" This time, before Madame Xiang could say anything, Xiang Yin hollered loudly. "This woman, comrade, parents are children's role models. Please teach by example and by word of mouth. Teach your own children well." Zhong Yi's emotions froze. The netizens in the live stream who were enjoying the show were dumbfounded. Did I hear wrongly? Xiang Yin called Zhong Yi a woman? A woman? Someone immediately retorted passionately. Ha, did he call her a woman? Does he know how to respect women? The old lady is being unreasonable and the old man is being overbearing. This family is so ill-mannered. The bad guys have really aged. For the sake of their granddaughter, they're hurting others so brazenly? Chapter 359. There were plenty of people who sympathized with Zhong Yi and Jiang's encounter, but their sympathy turned into anger. They desperately needed an outlet to vent their anger. First it was Shi Sui and now it was Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang. Zhong Yi was usually addressed as sister, so it took her a while to accept the title of comrade. Zhong Yi's heart was filled with bitterness. Of course she could guess that Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang were backing Xiang Yi up. She really envied Xiang Yi, who was doted on so much. Jiang, I'm sorry I lied to you. Uncle Shi Sui is not your father. Zhong Yi finally came clean. Jiang's eyes were full of disappointment. Then, where's Daddy? She asked eagerly. Daddy? He's no longer in this world. It took Zhong Yi a lot of effort to tell the truth. He has become a star in the sky to protect you, Jiang. The 3-year-old Jiang didn't quite understand, but she could feel the sadness in her mother's body. Tears rolled down her cheeks, breaking her heart. The audience watching the live stream froze in front of the screen. Zhong Yi means that Jiang's father has passed away? Madame Xiang couldn't bear to see the child cry, so she took the initiative to coax Jiang. Zhong Yi pursed her lips and looked at Shi Sui. Can I talk to you? Li Jinyu gestured for the cameraman to leave, but Zhong Yi said, it's okay, you can film. It also meant that she agreed to live stream the conversation between her and Shi Sui. The two of them walked towards the vegetable field like old friends taking a stroll. However, Shi Sui maintained an appropriate social distance from her. He was gentlemanly and distant. Zhong Yi noticed this small detail and a look of self-deprecation flashed across her eyes. Indeed, Shi Sui's misogyny is as bad as ever. I want to apologize to you, Shi Sui, I'm sorry. It's because Jiang's father has already passed away before she was born. He was a doctor who unfortunately met with an accident when he was participating in an international volunteer event abroad. Zhong Yi lowered her eyes. Her beautiful face was filled with pain. But I wanted to selfishly leave something for Jiang. So, when Jiang asked about her father, I showed her the stills of you in Untainted, and lied to her that it was her father. Shi Sui had slimmed down to look like a paper doll for the sake of the role of Dustless. In the stills, Shi Sui had applied makeup and filters, so he looked slightly different from the real Shi Sui. However, they were the same person after all. Hence, when Jiang saw him, she felt that Shi Sui resembled her father. The netizens who had been the most aggressive in the live stream were dumbfounded. What the hell? All this wasn't because Shi Sui was a scumbag, but because Zhong Yi was lying. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean anything else. I just didn't want Jiang to feel like a child without a father. Zhong Yi lost control of her emotions and covered her face with her hands to block her tears. Actually, you don't look like him at all. He's not as good looking as you are and he's not as tall as you are, but he's really, really good. At the end of her sentence, Zhong Yi was already a little incoherent, but one could tell that she was referring to Jiang's biological father. Shi Sui's eyes were deep and dark. He lowered his eyelids and the emotions in his eyes were thin and cold. Senior, my condolences. I think you need to be alone for a while. As soon as he said that, the Shi Sui couple was completely heartbroken. Shi Sui, you scumbag. You're heartless. Chapter 360. Can't you coax her? Can't you at least give her a tissue instead of a hug? Doesn't Shi Sui's family love to brag about their high EQ? Why aren't they bragging now? How can they leave a girl to cry? However, Shi Sui's sisters were displeased to see that Shi Sui had been criticized. In the beginning they had some scruples and were worried about the relationship between Shi Sui and Jiang. Now that they had clarified it, they no longer had any concerns. A couple is a couple, but they are two different people. Smile, smile. The two of them are just seniors and juniors. They can't even be considered friends. What's wrong with leaving Zhong Yi alone? To those who are criticizing scumbags, I hope you all find a warm boyfriend who can coax other girls. Take away our Shi Sui. A gentleman is not equal to a central air conditioner. Thank you. Although Zhong Yi had fans, they were no match for Shi Sui. In just a few minutes, the comments in the live stream returned to peace and tranquility. The reason was none other than that they couldn't win against Shi Sui. In the face of absolute popularity and power, Shi Sui would crush them as soon as she made a move. Shi Sui didn't return to the glass greenhouse and instead went to the vegetable field. The fence had already been fenced and there was only one last step left, painting. Shi Sui held a small brush and lowered his head to slowly brush the white paint. Soon, he heard the familiar sound of footsteps, and the corners of his lips curled up slightly. He had successfully waited for the rabbit to appear. He raised his head, his long and narrow peach blossom-shaped eyes curving upwards. When he smiled, he always looked affectionate and affectionate. Xiang Yi slowly returned from the orchard with a basket of fruits. The fence was the only way to get there. Sister Yi, you've picked so many fruits, Shui greeted. Xiang Yi replied with a obviously colder than usual. The netizens were appalled. No way is untimely wedding going to fail too? I have a bold idea. Is Sister Yi jealous? Xiang Yi looks so much like Ruo when she's sulking. She's just like her brothers when they pretend to be aloof. Xiang Yi was about to leave expressionlessly, but she couldn't help but glance at Shui. The hand injury left behind by the obsessive fan, all as well year-round, had not completely healed. He could only use one hand to paint. Although he painted very evenly and meticulously, not only was the speed slow, but it also looked very laborious. Xiang Yi couldn't take another step. Shui asked gently, "Why don't you go back? It's too sunny here. Be careful not to get sunburned." Seriously, she was too worrisome. Xiang Yi slowly walked to Shui's side and said awkwardly, "I'll do it. You go back." Shui said, "It's okay. I can do it." Xiang Yi said, "No, you can't." Shui couldn't help laughing. "How do you expect me to answer that?" Before Xiang Yi could answer, the netizens in the live stream had already started spamming, "Shui can't do it." Xiang Yi snatched the brush from Shui's hand and stuffed the fruit into his hands. She said fiercely, "Go eat the fruit. Leave this to me." Shui's eyes were full of smiles. "Sister Yi, I'm really not as useless as you think. You're so long-winded." Xiang Yi pulled a long face. "You're so noisy." Shui blinked and a moment later he went to the staff member's side. When he returned, he had a floral parasol in his hand. Whoosh! His well-defined fingers opened the umbrella for Xiang Yi. His voice was gentle and affectionate. "You'll be bored if you're alone. I'll be quiet. Don't mind me, okay?" Chapter 361. The umbrella was so small that it couldn't fit two people at all. Shui covered most of the umbrella over Xiang Yi's head, allowing the sunlight to pour on her shoulders. "Xiang Yi, up to you." She buried her head in painting, her movements quick and hurried, as if she was trying to hide the restlessness in her heart. Shui didn't say a word and just silently held the umbrella for her. The comments in the live stream had already exploded. "Another day of tears for Sister Yi's beautiful love. Ah, it's not that Shui isn't warm, it's just that you're not the warm one. Holding an umbrella is too sweet, mommy. I'm eating candy. I'm covering my mouth. Don't cry, Zhongchong couple. You guys can come and cheer for untimely couple. I guarantee sweetness, I guarantee authenticity." Shui has double standards. To Zhongyi, "I think you need to be alone for a while." To Sister Yi, "I'll be quiet. Don't despise your brother, okay?" The fans of the couple were kowtowing, but the marketing accounts wanted to cry but had no tears. The KPI was gone just like that. The more eye-catching the article was, the more embarrassing it was to be slapped in the face. Shui's daughter exposed? It's all a lie. Without the gimmick of Shui's daughter, just the words Zhongyi's daughter couldn't attract much traffic at all. For the sake of click-through rates, some people were so evil that they took an extreme route, and that was slandering Zhongyi. All of a sudden, comments such as "Zhongyi is pregnant out of wedlock," "Zhongyi's blood-sucking daughter," and "Zhongyi and her daughter are trying to ride on Shui's popularity," sprung up like bamboo shoots after a rain. Many netizens felt that they had been cheated by Zhongyi, and for a while there was a wave of criticism. She's giving birth to a child before marriage? Disgusting. Their daughter is only 3 years old and they can't wait to bring her out to make money? Maybe it's all self-directed and self-staged. Negative publicity is still popularity. Of course, there's money to be made if there's popularity. Zhongyi hasn't made any waves in the past few years, and her works have all been flops. Maybe she's just here to show off her face and then she's flirting with others. Zhongyi didn't think that her selfishness would cause such a huge backlash. Xiang Yi brushed the fence as fast as she could. With white railings and green vegetable fields, it looked quite small and fresh. The girl picked a few green and red chili peppers. She turned around and looked at Shui, who was still holding the umbrella, and said awkwardly, "Let's go back." Shui went to return the umbrella. Xiang Yi was about to pick up the fruit basket on the ground, but Shui picked it up before her. She chuckled and said, "My brother can still carry it." Xiang Yi thought about it. Since it wasn't very heavy, she didn't argue with him. After all, Shui was a fragile and sensitive man. Shui? It wouldn't be good to hurt his pride. The two of them walked side by side on the way back. Xiang Yi stood on his left side and found that the exposed fair skin of his collarbone had turned red from the sun's rays. She felt really strange. She didn't know why she was angry at Shui, and she didn't know why she felt sorry for him. She was conflicted and confused. Shi Sui noticed the confused expression on the girl's face and said in a low voice, "Sister E?" Xiangyi suddenly stopped in her tracks. As if she was suddenly enlightened, she suddenly looked at Shi Sui, only to meet his abyss-like dark eyes. Xiangyi thought of a possibility. She probably seemed to, she wasn't a fan of Shi Sui's mother but a fan of Shi Sui's girlfriend. She had fallen in love with Shi Sui. Chapter 362. Whoosh. It was as if the thousands upon thousands of mountains shrouded in dense fog had dispersed, and something had become clear and profound. Xiangyi was shocked. She actually liked Shi Sui. What if Shi Sui finds out? The filming of Two Under One Roof would take about 2 months and there was still about half of the time left. If Shi Sui found out about her thoughts, then wouldn't it be very awkward for her to get along with Shi Sui for the next month? "Sister E? Are you okay?" The man's low magnetic voice sounded in her ear. Xiangyi pretended to be calm and asked, "Ahem, what do Senior Zhong and Jiangjiang like to eat?" In a split second, Xiangyi had already thought of a countermeasure. Act as him. In a certain world that she had transmigrated to, she had also played many supporting roles in order to help the protagonist win the Best Actress award. She felt that she wasn't particularly bad. So, Shi Sui shouldn't be able to find out. Little did she know that Shi Sui had noticed her abnormality almost immediately. He was more sensitive to people's emotions than ordinary people. The man raised his long eyebrows and said, "I'm not sure." He had worked with Zhong Yi before but he didn't know her tastes at all. Or rather he didn't care at all. Xiangyi pretended to be calm and said, "Oh, I see. I'll ask them later then." "Sister E, are you nervous?" Almost as soon as Shi Sui finished speaking, Xiangyi exclaimed like a cat with its hair standing on end, "No." "Then you." Shi Sui sized her up with a half smile and his eyes gradually widened. "Why are you walking with your hands and feet in the same direction?" Xiangyi was speechless. She said stubbornly, "Maybe you saw wrongly." However, this scene was honestly recorded by the camera. The fans expressed that they found it adorable. Why is Sister E in a daze? She looks so cute when she walks with her hands and feet in the same direction. Xiangyi really looked like a little rabbit when she was frightened just now, the white and soft kind. F***ck, I'm going to become a fan of the couple. E is so cute, no man is worthy of her. Ahem, me too. I just want to see a beautiful missy surrounded by a bunch of puppies. Xiangyi used the fruits she picked, yogurt and nuts to make a fruit scoop. After busying himself for half a day, he finally got such a cold and sweet bite. It was simply too satisfying. Xiangyi did not add any ice cubes for Jiangjiang's portion. Little Lolita took a bite and her little butt fluttered in happiness. Good, what are you supposed to say when someone gives you food? Jiangjiang blinked and asked in a soft and tender voice, "Is there more?" Zhongyi was confused. The adults in the room were all amused by the children's words. Zhongyi rubbed her forehead helplessly. At this moment, Li Jianyu took the microphone and began to advertise. Good news, Sister E in Shi Sui's double-cover magazine is about to be released. 90 yuan. You won't be at a disadvantage if you buy it. Please buy it on the official Weibo account of My Style. Also, please pay me the advertising fee. Li Jianyu hereby kneels down and thanks the sponsor. The netizens watching the live stream were appalled. Son, you're so good at advertising. It's finally going to be released. Buy. I must buy it. The photo of Shi Sui holding onto Sister Yi's leg and refusing to kiss her, I bet that photo must be the cover. Damn it. Everyone go to Weibo. My Style is up to something. They've actually separated the male and female versions into AB and AB versions. The two covers are different. Chapter 363. Everyone flocked to Weibo, only to discover that 2 minutes ago the official account of My Style had updated its status. My Style V. Hashtag Shi Sui and Xiangyi Jun cover. Hashtag I've waited for thousands of years just to meet you at this moment. Mass is not proportional to volume. She attracts me with a mass that far exceeds that of the earth. I want to fall into hell with her. However, at the end of the endless abyss I see a star. Shi Sui v Xiangyi v. The men's edition A is trapped, the women's edition B is sinking, and the physical edition is shackled by morning star. There were also 3 pre-sale links at the end of the Weibo post, 2 for electronic issues and 1 for physical issues, which would go on sale at 12 o'clock sharp. MS Magazine usually sold 1 electronic issue and 1 physical issue, but this was the first time there were separate editions for men and women. Many netizens immediately began cursing. Are they crazy about money? I'm going to vomit. What kind of unscrupulous magazine company is this? They brag about the fan economy every day. Do they really take their fans for fools? We're not leaks. However, someone sensed something unusual. Are the 3 versions of the photo the same? If they are, it doesn't make sense for them to sell the same photos 3 times, does it? This question was quickly answered by the official Weibo account. Dear, all 3 versions of the photo are different. And they all have their own focus. Cute cute. In an instant, those who knew what was going on immediately understood. In addition to the cover of the magazine, the 2 of them also had an interview, and there were at least several photos in the inside pages. For the male version there should be more photos of Shui. For the female version there should be more photos of Xiangyi. As for the physical issue there should be more photos of the 2 of them. In this case fans could purchase according to their needs. In a sense it could also be said to be a personalized service. However, the CP fans wailed. What should I do? I want all 3 versions. Only children make choices. Adults choose to buy all of them. The buyers are not as good as the sellers. Unscrupulous merchants. I'll buy it, okay? Collecting and hoarding are human instincts, so I'm just following my instincts and not spending money recklessly. There were also many discussion posts on the well-known gossip forum, Melon, mainly about which version would sell the most. A Shui sister showed up and posted a very professional analysis post. Title: Prediction: Shui version A will sell first, not me eating a keyboard live. Text: Combining the data before the age of 10, there is no doubt that he is the absolute ceiling for male artistes. The sales volume of the previous few magazine covers has set records, not to mention the ability to increase luxury goods. He is the kind that even the little fresh meats can't beat. The drawings and tables are as follows. As for the other vase fairy, she had only released 1 single since her debut, and her electronic sales were a joke. Her endorsements were alright, but her sales were mediocre. On the other hand, she inexplicably became popular with dishwashers and electric barbecue plates. She could be considered to have some ability to sell goods. However, a C-lister was a C-lister. How could the light of a firefly compete with the brilliance of the bright moon? Of the 3 versions, Shui version A is the bestseller, the double cover version is the second bestseller, and the vase fairy version B is the 3rd bestseller. By the way, according to MS's usual practice, the first batch of links will probably be about 100,000 copies. I predict that the Shui version A will definitely sell out in seconds. As for the double cover version and the vase fairy version B, I suggest the vase fairy's fans hurry up and raise funds. The post soon reached the top of the trending section, and there were more than 1,000 replies. At this moment it was 12 o'clock. Chapter 364. In the entertainment industry, the sales volume of a magazine was, in a sense, equivalent to the commercial value of a celebrity. The so-called instant sales meant that the sales volume was within a minute or a few minutes. The higher the sales volume, the greater the purchasing power of the fans, and the greater the celebrity's ability to sell goods. Shui's fans rubbed their hands in glee and clicked on the purchase button as soon as the electronic magazine was put on the shelves. The Shui sister who posted the post bought Shui edition A and refreshed the page to find that there were no more copies in stock. She clicked on the link to the physical magazine, only to find that there were not many copies in stock. She then clicked on Xiangyi edition B and found that there were still more than 90,000 copies in stock. The girl in front of the screen laughed out loud and immediately took a screenshot and edited it into the main text of the post. Main text: Shui edition A has been sold out. Looking at my purchase record, it should have been achieved in about 2 minutes. Also, thank you to the vase fairy for contributing to our joke of the year. Her commercial value is about 0. I suspect that her fans are fake fans. However, she was confused by the netizens' replies. Ha ha ha, as long as you're happy. Are you there? Is there something wrong with your eyesight? Another one has gone crazy. Take her away, she's hopeless. She was puzzled until she refreshed the forum and found a post titled, Have a taste of the strongest fan club in history. Rewind time to a few minutes ago. On Weibo, Yan Nai and his father, Yan Zhenhua, reposted the Weibo post of MS Magazine. Yan Zhenhua. Haha, little girl, have you grown up? I'm craving it. I'll buy a few copies as payment for my food expenses. Yan Nai. Sister, I'll give you all my New Year's money to support you. Clench your fist. Then the boys of C7 followed suit. Jiangchen. Sister, you're so beautiful. I love edition B. Xin Ci. Sister's magazine, I have to buy it. Soon, Yin Jiangxue and her husband also reposted the post. Yin Jiangxue. Wow, our little cutie looks so good in this photo. I'm going to buy it for my collection. Xingguang, my wife is right. Then, It was Xiangyi's family group. Little Uncle Xiang Feng yelled in the family group chat and forwarded the post. Badeo President V. Little Xiangyi, I'll cover your cover today. In the training room. Xiang Yu logged onto Weibo in the midst of his busy schedule. Logic Smog V. Is there a PS expert? Later, please help me Photoshop a single photo of my sister. The price is negotiable. Abroad. Xiang Qi set an alarm and got up in the middle of the night. Hades V. My sister is the cutest in the world. I won't accept any rebuttal. At the Research Institute. Xiang Li was in the middle of writing the latest research report when he suddenly stopped and said gently, Sorry, give me a minute. I have to support my sister. Help? What was that? Under the confused gazes of a group of scientists from various fields, Xiang Li calmly took out his phone and reposted the Weibo post. Xiang Li V. Cheering for little sister. Come on, little sister. At the law firm. Sanction sorted out the documents for the court session in the afternoon and looked at the two young girls opposite him. Miss Zhao, Miss Su, I have something important to do before lunch. Guardian and her good friend were nervous and at a loss. They thought he was going to do something big, but the next second, he clicked on the Weibo icon and reposted the post seriously. His expression was cold and his words were concise. Tutu Brother V, buy it? Guardian and Guardian? This is the big thing you were talking about? Chapter 365. These Weibo posts were screenshotted and posted. It was the post, Let's see what it means to be the strongest support group in history. The netizens were stunned to see the famous directors of the entertainment industry, top celebrities, young hunks, respected veteran actors, gaming gurus, famous designers, medical doctors and top lawyers supporting Xiangyi. What the F***CK? What kind of luxurious lineup is this? This is probably Mary Sue's favorite heroine in novels. I just saw that the official Weibo accounts of the Chinese Folk Music Association and the Traditional Chinese Medicine Association have also reposted it. There was no need to mention how envious the other fans were. This kind of support was really not something that everyone could get. Shui's sister, who had posted just now, gritted her teeth in front of the screen. She was a fan of Shui, but she was also an anti-fan of Xiangyi. She was extremely upset about the two of them being a couple, so she couldn't stand Xiangyi at all. She couldn't help but mock and ridicule under the post. So what if there are so many people supporting her? Every one of them was just talking. Why don't they buy it? Our Shui sold it in 2 minutes. What about her? Can she sell it out in 200 years? Smiley face. As soon as she posted it, she was rebuked. The data hasn't been tabulated yet. I clicked on it a minute ago, but I didn't manage to buy it. However, the inventory page is malfunctioning, and it keeps showing more than 90,000 copies. Keep bragging. Can the vase fairy be that impressive? Shui's version A sold out in 2 minutes, but she can sell out her version B in 1 minute? Isn't she afraid that others will laugh at her? She snorted and replied sarcastically, Her? She can sell it in seconds? Then I'll go to heaven. As soon as she replied, a notification popped up on Weibo, showing that MS had posted a new post. She clicked on it and was instantly dumbfounded. Someone had indeed sold it in seconds, but it wasn't Shui. MyStyle V, hashtag Shui Xiangyi June cover hashtag congratulations at Shui's A edition of the e-magazine was completed in 2 minutes and 36 seconds, the achievement of selling 100,000 copies. Congratulations to at Xiangyi V for selling 100,000 copies of the B edition e-magazine in 59 seconds. It set a new record in the history of MyStyle. At the same time, congratulations to the two of them for the achievement of selling 100,000 copies in 5 minutes and 1 second for the physical issue of Confined to the Morning Star. The entire circle was in an uproar. Female artist, 59 seconds, 100,000 copies. Good heavens, even if there was support, this number was still shocking. When Xiangyi's fans saw this Weibo post, they all felt proud. Sister E is so outstanding. Roaring at the top of his lungs. So low-key. REZ isn't that impressive. Awesome. Felt so good. After being slandered for so long, he could finally hold his head high. That's how impressive RE is. Bullshit. Someone even tagged Shui's sister. Haha, does your face hurt? You there? Is the keyboard ready? If not, I'll send you one. I heard that you're going to heaven. I've prepared the sunflower seeds and a small stool. When are you going to perform? That person didn't reply for a long time. After a while, everyone realized that she had actually deleted her account. She can't afford to play, can she? Some were happy while others were worried. Untimely Weibo was a hot topic. Who still remembers that it's a double cover this time? Sob, 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 sob. Are we too lousy? The sales are actually at the bottom. No, sisters. It's been so long, but Sure Sui still hasn't won Sister Yi's heart. He's useless. Oh no, I actually think that makes sense. Chapter 366. In the trending topics, the netizens vividly interpreted the hashtag when I'm ruthless, even the couple I'm dating will be hateful hashtag. Hence, a topic quietly climbed to the bottom of the trending topics on Weibo. When Si Chuanbai saw the hashtag Shuringdi is useless hashtag, his expression was exactly the same as the old man on the subway. In the past, he had predicted that Sure Sui would be on the trending topics and had prepared the corresponding public relations. Recently, the trending topics were getting more and more confusing. Shuringdi is useless? What kind of public relations is this? If it was public relations, others would say, look at Sure Sui and his team, they're guilty. If it wasn't public relations, others would say, I can't tell that he's so weak at such a young age. The top manager sighed heavily as he looked at his phone. It's too difficult for me. Similarly, Xiangyi's manager, Anan, was in a difficult situation. He had been worried sick that he wouldn't be able to sell his obedient version B. Until he saw the Weibo post about the sales. 59 seconds? 100,000 copies? Did he see wrongly? Before Anan could react, his phone was bombarded with calls from various media outlets and business partners. To put it simply, Xiangyi was on fire. However, the problems that followed were also obvious. An artist didn't just need a manager, they needed a team. Now, although Xiangyi had become the boss of Tomato Entertainment in name, she didn't have a team. With so many things piling up, Anan felt powerless. It was too difficult. I don't deserve it. He even had a feeling of wanting to shrink back. Should I resign? Just as this thought flashed through his mind, his phone rang. When he saw the caller ID, he rubbed his eyes hard before answering the call. Mr. C? Are you looking for me? Si Chuanbai's serious and deep voice came through the receiver. From today onwards, my team and I will be in charge of handling Miss Xiangyi's management business. Really? That's great. In that case, Xiangyi would have the most professional management team. However, his happiness only lasted for 3 seconds before Anan realized something. He drooped his head and asked dejectedly, so am I going to lose my job? Si Chuanbai. You're thinking too much. Anan sobbed. You don't have to comfort me. I understand. I'll pack my luggage now and go to Little Rabbit Farm to raise piglets. I heard that they use science to raise pigs and turn knowledge into reality. In any case, I went to university before. Ooh, I should be able to apply, right? Si Chuanbai rubbed his eyebrows. Why was Little Rainbow? What do you mean by raising piglets? I think you want to eat piglets. Sorry, I didn't express myself clearly. My team and I will assist you. Knowing that he would not face the crisis of unemployment, Anan was rejuvenated. He suddenly thought, then, what about Sure Sui? Si Chuanbai said coldly, let him fend for himself. I am now part of Miss Xiangyi's family. Ah? In the kitchen Xiangyi and Sure Sui were busy. Li Jinyu announced Sure Sui's sales volume first. Sure Sui bowed to the camera and said, thank you for your support everyone. A's was made comments. First bow. When it was Xiangyi's turn, Xiangyi stopped washing the vegetables and expressed her gratitude to her fans. More and more people joined in. Second bow. Coincidentally, when Xiangyi turned around, she bumped into Sure Sui. He frowned and looked down at her. One person's idiocy is called idiocy, while a group's idiocy is called happiness. Husband and wife bow to each other. Ceremony complete. Chapter 367. Send him to the bridal chamber and turn off the lights. Wait a minute, isn't Sure Sui impotent? Why don't we crowdfund and send him some pills to nourish his body? I'm going to laugh myself to death in the comment section sooner or later. There was a sea of joy in the comment section, but the few popular starlets in the entertainment industry were extremely displeased. Some of the fashion and endorsement opportunities that had originally approached them had all gone to Xiangyi. That was how realistic the entertainment industry was. When something was going down, the business world wouldn't even take a second look. When it was popular, the business world would willingly be a spare tire. The starlets would usually fight openly and covertly, but today they were united against a common enemy and quickly formed a group. The Plastic Sisters flattered each other for a while, and then very tacitly joined forces to defame Xiangyi. Soon, a lot of negative news about Xiangyi appeared on the internet. What kind of sales legend is this? It's all fake, After removing the fake news, it's already good enough for someone to sell 1,000 magazines. Well, a certain Xiang actress has a bunch of rich brothers. Of course she can buy as many magazines as she wants. Commercial value? Sorry, the vase fairy really doesn't have any. It's all fake prosperity. Would there really be an idiot who would believe that she has fans? She might be fine if one person scolded her, but if a group of people scolded her, there must be something wrong with her. Otherwise, why would they scold her instead of others? The companies behind the starlets all had a lot of marketing accounts, which undoubtedly came in handy at times like this. They were ridiculing Xiangyi from all angles, as if the 100,000 copies sold by her brothers were all fake figures. Commercial value was an important standard in the business world to measure artists. Seeing so much negative public opinion on the internet, some brands couldn't help but back out. Looking for Xiangyi might not be a good choice. She was popular, but she was a little too black-red. After all, no one wanted to find a spokesperson who would attract criticism. Besides, her figures were too exaggerated. In the entertainment industry, male artists had always been the ones who outsold female artists. Since when had female artists ever outsold male artists? At the critical moment, an overseas vlogger posted on Weibo, which attracted the attention of netizens. Nowadays, there were many overseas artists, internet celebrities, vloggers, and so on Weibo. Some of them managed their accounts well and had a considerable number of fans. It just so happened that the vlogger who posted on Weibo would usually share her outfits, skincare, and so on. She had more than 2 million fans. Luna V. Hey, I want to ask, can anyone help me buy this? My friends like her very much. There was a picture. It was a screenshot of My Style Xiangyi Edition B. The netizens? Is Xiangyi? S. Do overseas vloggers? S. Someone raised a question in Luna's native language. She no. S fans post 1. She her videos. S her. S. Tease. Test. Not only is she the ideal type for men, but she is also the ideal type for women. S. For, oh my god, someone bought it for me. I'm so happy. Chapter 368. The netizens were dumbfounded. Is this real? Usually, we're the ones who get people to buy overseas skincare products and cosmetics. Now, foreigners are getting people to buy our female artists' magazine covers? At first, some people thought that it was just a publicity stunt. However, some overseas students posted screenshots of overseas magazines, which made people realize how terrifying Xiangyi's popularity was overseas. I'm shocked. So the vase fairy is not only popular, but she's also really popular overseas? There are 200,000 links to each of the 3 editions. Sister Yi's edition B has been sold out. It's really sold out in seconds. I went to several well-known overseas video websites and found that the number of views on Xiangyi's cooking videos is second only to the videos of our national treasure Panda acting cute. The popular actresses who had teamed up to slander Xiangyi were also confused. How did this happen? Didn't Xiangyi just star in a variety show? How did she become so popular overseas? Those brands who had backed out just now were dying of regret. They hurriedly tried to contact Xiangyi again, only to find that she already had a new management team, gold medal manager Si Chuanbai and his team. The brands were speechless. Isn't he sure Ingdi's exclusive manager? Why is he in charge of Xiangyi's management business? Si Chuanbai was much colder than Anan. He quickly filtered through and rejected those that were not suitable for him. Those brands beat their chests and stomped their feet, hating themselves for being a step too late and missing out on such a huge business opportunity. The most vicious slap in the face came from a Weibo post that Shui liked. Badeo President V. Woo, what lousy magazine is this? It's limited to 1 copy per account. I'm rich. Let me buy it. Do you hear me? Xiang Feng's incompetent and furious post attracted a lot of laughter from the netizens. After Shui liked the post, everyone suddenly understood the main point. Huh? There's a limited purchase? And it's limited to 1 copy? A limited purchase meant that no one could buy hundreds or thousands of copies. The rumor of Xiangyi's brothers spending money to boost sales was dispelled. The netizens were in a daze, still in disbelief. Xiangyi, a female artist, had single-handedly surpassed Shui's magazine sales. She had really recorded a variety show. If there were any good works in the future, he didn't dare to think about it. He really didn't dare to think about it. Untimely super topic. Shui, a man who is always on the front line to protect his wife. My first reaction is that I've eaten candy. My second reaction is that Shui likes her. Sob, me too. I feel like my daughter hasn't been enlightened yet. I'm looking forward to her growing up, but I don't want her to grow up at the same time. Her mother fans are so worried. The manner. When lunch was served, Jiang stared blankly at the sumptuous lunch. Did elder sister do all this? Amazing. Jiang praised generously. Jiang, call me auntie, said Zhongyi. Jiang shook her head and said, no, it's sister. The beautiful ones are all big sisters. Xiangyi had always been very tolerant towards her cubs. She pushed a cup of freshly squeezed strawberry milk over, her eyes gentle and calm. Jiang took a sip and squinted her eyes blissfully. After a few seconds she sighed like an adult and said, when will I grow up? Madame Xiang asked. Jiang, what do you want to be when you grow up? Jiang exclaimed, I want to marry Sister Yi. Everyone at the table burst into laughter. Shui was the only one who raised his eyebrows. Children are such creatures. They're really annoying. Chapter 369. The netizens watching the live stream were appalled. It's time for the mukbang live stream. Reporting the takeout has been ordered and the milk tea is ready. Get ready to eat. Over? Shui's eyebrows are so soulful. He's not going to be jealous of children, is he? Zhongyi was shocked by the delicious food on the table. Did you make all these? Xiangyi didn't take the credit. Shui and I made them together. Shui said, I'm just an assistant. A look of surprise flashed past Zhongyi's eyes. As far as she knew, Shui was the type of person who would rather not eat than cook. Yet she's willing to cook? Madame Xiang praised, our dear Tutu's culinary skills are really getting better and better. Xiangyin humphed and said, that's all. Madame Xiang, if you didn't eat the most, I would have believed your nonsense. As for Xiao Naofu and little Shiji, they also had their own lunches. Little Shiji, who had only eaten dog food before, barked and buried its face into the bowl of food for the first time. Xiao Naofu, on the other hand, turned into a little kitten and ignored its own food to squeeze into little Shiji's bowl. Little Shiji looked at it in bewilderment. Woof. Xiao Naofu barked at it fiercely. Woof. I'm going to eat your food, you mutt. Little Shiji hesitated for a few seconds and quietly retreated. It even pushed its bowl towards Xiao Naofu, seemingly hinting for it to eat more. Xiao Naofu initially thought that little Shiji was trying to lure it away from its territory so that it could steal its luxurious seafood rice. To its surprise, little Shiji lay on the ground obediently and watched it eat innocently with watery black eyes. It seemed that it was planning to wait for Xiao Naofu to have its fill before starting. Xiao Naofu suddenly felt that the rice in its bowl was no longer fragrant. What are you looking at? Xiao Naofu was immature and was equivalent to a human child. It bullied little Shiji because it felt that little Shiji had stolen Xiangyi's love. If little Shiji was a bully, it would definitely fight little Shiji to the death. However, little Shiji wasn't. Xiao Naofu felt like it had punched cotton. It stared at little Shiji for a few seconds before reluctantly pushing the bowl back. It even picked up a prawn from its bowl and placed it in little Shiji's bowl. Meow. Humph, this hoo-hoo only gave you a prawn because you're too thin and weak. In the next second, little Shiji pressed it onto the ground and began licking Xiao Naofu's head happily. Meow. Xiao Naofu, your mother, don't come over. Stupid woman, save me. Save me. As an internet celebrity cat, Xiao Naofu had its own cameraman and a separate live broadcast room. The netizens inside were all cute and doting, and the style was very harmonious. Xiao Naofu is so pretentious. Our Xiao Naofu has grown up, I'm glad. Little Shiji is so domineering. I'm done, cat videos? So embarrassing, I'm too embarrassed to watch. Xiao Naofu struggled to break free from little Shiji's shackles and jumped into Xiangyi's arms, feeling extremely aggrieved. Meow. Woo-woo, that annoying mutt licked my fur until it was wet. Xiangyi put down her chopsticks and coaxed it gently. When Xiangyin saw this scene, he frowned and said with a menacing expression, don't worry. Just eat, why are you hugging it? Xiao Naofu was so frightened that it shrank into Xiangyi's arms. Some netizens commented, I feel like old Mr. Xiang doesn't hate cats but Xiangyi. Chapter 370. This comment gained the approval of many people. Yeah, cats are so adorable. Would anyone hate cats? To be honest, old Mr. Xiang has 4 grandsons, why would he fancy one granddaughter? In ancient times, Xiangyi wouldn't even be listed in the genealogy. Did you guys just realize? I could tell long ago that Xiangyi's grandfather has been pulling a long face towards the vase fairy. He obviously doesn't like her. As soon as those comments were posted, they were rebutted by Xiangyi's fans. TSK, you guys found out again? What's wrong with the person who mentioned the genealogy? Times have changed, you've forgotten about it early in the morning. It's just a sentence, yet you're imagining so much. Some people really have nothing better to do. It's not like it's written all over your face. There was a strong smell of gunpowder in the comments. Nowadays, the livestream industry was very developed and the stress that had nowhere to be released in reality was easily vented on the internet. In reality, the mistakes of others could still be tolerated. However, in the online world, as long as there was a slight flaw, they would deal a heavy blow. Xiang Yi coaxed Xiao Naofu for a while before placing it on the ground. Xiang Yin immediately said, "Go wash your hands. Use disinfectant and hand sanitizer. Wash your palms as well as the back of your hands. Pets had germs on them and it would be bad if they got infected." His granddaughter's health was the most important thing in the world. When everyone heard his words, they felt that Xiang Yin was being too strict. "Got it, Grandpa." Xiang Yi obediently went to wash her hands. After washing up, she picked up her chopsticks and ate 2 mouthfuls of food. Xiang Yin began to nitpick again. "Tie your hair up. It's covering your eyes." Xiang Yi had her hair tied up in a bun, but she left her fringe slightly long because she hadn't cut it in a while. "It can't be tied up." She gestured to the length and suddenly found a small hair clip to clip her fringe up, revealing her fair and smooth head. There was a trace of satisfaction in Xiang Yin's eyes. "Yes, my granddaughter looks the best when her hair is tied up." In the live stream, Xiang Yin's grandfather is so fierce. I'm shivering in front of the screen. It's true that he hates her. Otherwise he wouldn't be so picky. Why does it feel so real? My mom also likes to let me comb my hair up to reveal my forehead. However, even though some people were cursing, they were watching with more enthusiasm than anyone else. After the meal, Zhong Yi and Jiang had the habit of taking an afternoon nap, but when Jiang heard that Xiang Yin was going to make malt candy, she skipped her afternoon nap and instead scurried over to Xiang Yin's side to watch him. Little Rabbit Farm had sent some half-finished products over. The old man sat in the pavilion, leisurely boiling maltose in a small pot. A gentle breeze blew past and the flowers by the pavilion fell. The green hills in the distance were faintly discernible. In the courtyard, a few ducks passed by the pond. The scene was beautiful and poetic. There were fewer bullet screen comments in the live broadcast room. Everyone was enjoying the tranquility and warmth of the moment. The old master's movements were skillful and it was obvious that he had done this many times in the past. He used a slender piece of wood chopped from bamboo to boil a round maltose candy. It looked like a lollipop and handed it to Jiang. "Baby, take it." "Thank you, Grandpa." Jiang hugged the maltose candy happily and licked it. It was sweet and warm. She said incoherently, "Yummy." When the netizens saw this scene, they were a little envious. "Xiang Yin is so nice," some haters sneered. "Even his biological granddaughter doesn't receive such treatment. Seems like someone is really annoying." However, Xiang Yin hummed a tune and took out a new piece of wood. He spun it, and the maltose candy in his hand grew larger and larger. The netizens began to feel that something was amiss. Chapter 371. The bright, light yellow maltose candy was emitting steam. Gradually, the candy ball in Xiang Yin's hand became several times larger than the one he gave to Jiang just now. Xiang Yin picked it up and looked at it, but he still felt that it wasn't enough. Hence, he put it in the pot and spun it a few more times. "This is for Jiang, right? Jiang is so cute, it's normal for her to be popular with elders." As soon as the pop-up comments appeared, Xiang Yin held the maltose candy and yelled, "Old woman, have some candy." Madame Xiang and Xiang Yi were drinking flower tea in front of the French window. Hearing his words, they smirked and said, "This old man's voice is too loud." The netizens were dumbfounded. They were caught off guard by their public display of affection. Madame Xiang tucked her hair behind her ears and walked towards Xiang Yin. After tasting it, she said, "It tastes all right, but it's old and sticky." Xiang Yin pretended to be angry and barked, "Nonsense. You're not old at all." Jiang chimed in, "Yes. Grandma is not old at all." All women like to hear such things, and Madame Xiang was no exception. She was all smiles. After eating half of it, she got sick of it and stuffed it into Xiang Yin's hands. Xiang Yin had been with her for many years and they could read each other's minds. Hence he calmly ate the rest. The pop-up comments in the live stream changed abruptly. "Oh my God, Grandpa and Grandma are so sweet. You can only be the king of dogs if you eat the best of the best. Damn it, I'm so jealous." Everyone was moved by the sweetness of Xiang Yin's and Grandma's love, and some even commented that Xiang Yi was too miserable. At first glance, that was indeed the case. Jiang and Xiang Yin both had candy, but she was still drinking flower tea all by herself. Without comparison, there would be no harm. Her fans felt a little sorry for her, but the haters were unscrupulous as they mocked her. Some people are just born to be detestable. I can't help it. If I were Xiang Yin, I wouldn't like her either. She's too pretentious. Up to now, the vase fairy has a perfect persona in Two Under One Roof. It would be strange if she wasn't acting. Just as the haters were criticizing Xiang Yi, someone discovered that Xiang Yin was still silently brewing maltose candy. This time the candy balls were even bigger. Not only was it big, but he also continuously molded it into shape. Not long after, a round, bunny-shaped maltose candy appeared in his palm. The old man looked at it and felt that it was not enough, so he continued to carve it carefully with a bamboo stick. After a long while, the old man was finally satisfied. The camera gave a close-up. It was a lifelike little rabbit, cute and delicate. Rabbit, rabbit? It can't be that coincidental. The next moment, the old man's loud and clear voice resounded in the courtyard. Good, rabbit, rabbit? The netizens were speechless. Earphone fans were almost deafened. Grandpa, your voice almost sent me away. Did I hear that right? The old master called her little bunny? Under everyone's incredulous eyes, Xiang Yi walked briskly into the pavilion. Grandpa, Xiang Yi said softly, is this for me? The old man had a sullen expression on his face, as if he wasn't the one who had called her good tutu just now. He handed the tutu maltose candy to Xiang Yi and said coldly, eat this. Xiang Yi grinned widely, revealing her dimples. Grandpa, you're so nice, you're the best grandpa in the world, sweet words. The old man sneered in disdain, but the corners of his mouth curled up uncontrollably. Is it enough? If it's not enough, there's more. I'll make you a supersized one. The netizens thought, you call this annoying? He's obviously doting on her. Chapter 372. Xiang Yi's voice was gentle as she sat on the stool next to Jianghu and ate her candy obediently. It's enough. The two of them were eating candy at the same frequency and were so adorable that his heart was about to melt. The smile on Xiang Yin's face deepened. Madame Xiang teased, hey, didn't someone say that he hasn't forgiven Tutu yet? Xiang Yin's expression changed immediately and he stopped smiling. He said coldly and sternly, don't think that I've forgiven her. Now, I've forgiven her at most 2%. Madame Xiang said, last time it was 1% and this time it's only 2%. Is a meal worth 1%? Then wouldn't my dear Tutu have to cook 98 meals for you? Old man, you're just trying to cheat her out of her food. The netizens in the live stream were amused by old Mrs. Xiang's words. Ha, old Mrs. Xiang is so sarcastic. Why did you say that you've forgiven her? What did Xiang Yi do? I suddenly feel that Xiang Yin is the arrogant one. Compared to Sister Yi's brothers, he's so weak. In the apartment, Qin Wanyan, who had recently suspended her work, was watching Two Under One Roof, as if she had been possessed. As long as Xiang Yi appeared on screen, she would crazily post negative comments, bicker, nitpick and make sarcastic remarks. Why is Xiang Yi doing so well and becoming more and more popular? Didn't I end up having to suspend my work and suffer a drop in popularity because of a slip of my hand? Hearing Xiang Yi mention the word forgiven, she sneered and opened the private chat box of a certain marketing account, in the court in Nanqing. Today's court hearing was being live-streamed on the court hearing website. Xiao Wan, who was also known as guardian of the best Xiang Yi in the world on Weibo, was seated in the gallery, so nervous that her palms were sweating. The judge announced that the court was in session and the live stream began. In an instant, many people swarmed into the live stream. When they saw Sangchen, who was sitting at the plaintiff's defense lawyer's seat, the comments section suddenly became lively. Ah, Xiang Yin's suit is so classy. This is lawyer Xiang's first court appearance in years, right? It's my first time watching a live trial. I'm a little nervous for some reason. The case was quickly sorted out. Xiao Wan's good friend, Xiao Su, got first place in the written interview when she applied for a job. However, the company hired a boy who ranked lower than her because this position was more suitable for boys. The lawyer hired by the defendant's company was also very good. The first thing he did was to change the concept of the case. His style of defense was very eloquent and infectious. He avoided the important points and dwelled on the trivial. He did not mention the gender issue at all. In conclusion, the defendant refused to admit the plaintiff not because of the plaintiff's gender, but because the plaintiff's overall ability was insufficient. Xiao Su's face was pale. The failure of the interview was a huge blow to her. Now that she was going to suffer a second blow, she felt a little uncomfortable physically and mentally. Taking advantage of her poor state, the company's representative attacked her without restraint. We think that Miss Su has a social disorder. As we all know, a serious social disorder is a psychological illness. Our position is really not suitable for her. In the live stream, some people felt that what they said made sense. That's right. How could they hire a ticking time bomb into the company? Getting first place in the written interview doesn't mean anything. Maybe she has high scores but low abilities. To be honest, this position is indeed not suitable for a girl. Given her age, she's going to get married and have children in 2 years. Who's going to bear the company's losses? Chapter 373. While the group of people were having a heated discussion, Sanction raised his eyebrows slightly in reality. Are you done? The man's voice was thin, cold, and low, and it exuded a powerful aura. The two people in the dock subconsciously shut up. By the time they came back to their senses, they realized that they had somehow listened to Sanction's words. Sanction got up and retorted without even looking at the document. Does the first place in the written test mean that you're not competent enough? In that case, I'm afraid I have to question the professional competence of your company's interviewers. As for mental illness, that's a personal attack. Who says that everyone has to be extroverted? It's precisely because of introverted people that there's diversity. No matter what personality they have, they deserve to be respected. If the person who came in first place in the written test was a man, would you still hire a woman who ranked lower? The answer is obviously no. Not only are you violating the law, you're also morally laughable. After a pause, he sneered. The people in the live stream were dumbfounded, and it took a while for the pop-up comments to come back. Damn, Sanction is so sharp-tongued. If you're not good at literature, you can think of one sentence. Lawyer Xiang is awesome. Well said. He's reasonable and polite. It's a textbook defense. Xiao Wan could no longer hear what the judge said to the defendant's lawyer. The only thing she could see was the tall and imposing figure. He's so suave. Sanction's style of defense was just like his personality. He hit the nail on the head and was cold and sharp. After a few rounds, he had already gained the upper hand. Xiao Su, who was initially hanging her head low, slowly raised her head and subconsciously straightened her back. Yes, I'm not as bad as the other party. Having regained her confidence, Xiao Su's gaze became resolute. The netizens in the live stream were infected, and they began leaving comments to cheer her on. A case of this level was not difficult for Xiang Qin at all. Very quickly, he slayed everyone in the room with a crushing manner. He adjusted his tie with his well-defined fingers and listened coldly to the judge announce the results of the trial. In the end, Xiao Su won the lawsuit. Although she did not receive much compensation, she smiled for the first time in days. Lawyer Xiang, thank you. Xiao Su sniffled and continued, and you, Wan, thank you for helping me so much. Xiao Wan quickly waved her hands and said, No, I didn't do anything. It's all thanks to Lawyer Xiang. Sanction replied calmly, You're welcome. The three of them left the courthouse and were immediately surrounded by local reporters. Other than a reporter from a legal program, the rest of the reporters were there because of Sanction's popularity. Reporters from programs such as anti-mediation, matchmaking, and so on all came to join in the fun. Lawyer Xiang, will you take the path of a public interest lawyer in the future? Mr. Xiang, are you interested in joining our dating show? Are you a feminist? What do you think of the sentence, I'm sorry for being born a woman, on the internet? Sanction was expressionless. He had no intention of cooperating with them at all. However, when he heard a certain question, his eyebrows furrowed. Regardless of whether you were born a woman or a man, there's nothing to be sorry about. There's no need to differentiate between men and women in this world, because too many people don't understand the concept of equal rights between men and women. He had a cold aura and his facial features were profound. His speech affected everyone until Xiao Wan accidentally blurted out. Ah, Brother Damao is so handsome. Sanction's expression gradually stiffened. Chapter 374. Xiao Wan's eyes gradually widened in horror. Why don't I think before I speak? A reporter got the joke and burst into laughter. Smog is Sameo Gu, Hades is brother Sanmao, Dr. Xiang is brother Ermao, and Lawyer Xiang is brother Damao. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with that. The group of people was about to laugh when they saw Sanction's cold and handsome face. He raised his eyebrows slightly. Is it that funny? Everyone? It's not funny at all. The reporters gradually dispersed. After thanking Sanction again, Xiao Su got ready to take the subway. Xiao Wan grabbed her wrist and tried to leave with her, but Xiao Su pried her fingers off one by one. Sister, take care and come back alive. Xiao Wan? At the stairs, only Sanction and Xiao Wan were left. Sanction sneered. Brother Dumao? Qiao Wan trembled in fear. This nickname isn't derogatory. Only people who really like Sister Yi would call you brothers that. The man chuckled coldly and slowly adjusted his sleeves. Qiao Wan felt a chill down her spine. She felt that Sanction was like the villain in a movie at this moment. She had a strong desire to live. Lawyer Xiang, I've snatched Sister Yi's magazine. Sanction paused in his actions. He was a step too slow when the competition started just now and didn't manage to snatch a single copy. Instead, Qiao Wan successfully snatched the cover of Xiang Yi's B edition with her fast hand speed. Lawyer Xiang, look, this photo of Sister Yi looks so much like the little princess. This photo of Shirindi hugging her makes her waist look so slender. And this photo of the two of them holding hands. Motherf asterisk hers are so satisfied. Oh, this is so untimely. Qiao Wan scrolled through the photos and explained in real time. However, she felt an inexplicable chill. She looked up and realized that Sanction was staring at Shui's hands. His deep eyes narrowed dangerously, and he looked like he wanted to chop off Shui's hands. Qiao Wan gulped and tried to explain. Actually, a two-person cover is already considered a very small. There were some double covers, some kissing scenes, and some seductive driving poses. In her opinion, the photos of Xiang Yi and Shui couldn't even be considered as baby strollers. However, in Xiang Chen's eyes, Shui was already a dead man. In order to ease the suffocating atmosphere, Qiao Wan dug out a video that was later released by Ms. Magazine. This is edited using behind-the-scenes footage. I heard that it's from the perspective of the vampire, Shui. The previous video released by Ms. Magazine was mainly from the perspective of the little princess. This time it was the other way around. She clicked on it and saw that it was still in a retro dark style. The young and handsome vampire was dressed in a gorgeous and exquisite retro suit. He happened to encounter the innocent the little princess in the forest. His nonchalant gaze slowly became extremely aggressive. He wanted to destroy that purity. Then it was a step-by-step calculation. However, what the vampire didn't expect was, he was the first to fall into her trap. Rather than saying that he led the little princess to fall into his trap, it was more accurate to say that he fell into the sweet trap of the little princess. Just right, it echoed the theme of falling into his trap, and deep in his trap. The scene changed to a dim and beautiful castle. The vampire held the back of the little princess's head tightly, and the scene of them kissing was seductive. Unexpectedly, in the next second, the little princess grabbed his tie. Her fair and soft fingers curiously and innocently touched his Adam's apple. Then they moved down bit by bit. The two of them looked at each other. The video stopped abruptly. Chapter 375. Qiao Wan suppressed her excitement and finished watching the video. When the video ended, she shuddered and sobered up all of a sudden. It's over, it's over. Sister Yi's flirting is sweet, but will Lawyer Xiang beat his sister up too? Qiao Wan was on tenterhooks when she heard a gritting voice coming from above her head. My tutu has been led astray just like that. Qiao Wan, huh? Instead of learning from the good, you're learning from the bad. Xiang Qin cracked his fingers and sneered. You're a dog. It was obvious who he was referring to. Qiao Wan suddenly felt that Shui was going to lose his leg. As soon as the Weibo post was posted, the comment section exploded. Oh my god, what kind of amazing editing is this? The little princess has fallen into depravity, but she's also a vampire immortal. Sisters, you like her so much. Damn. Shui's gaze was so lustful when Sister Yi touched his Adam's apple in the last scene. If it weren't for the fact that they were filming, Shui would have eaten braised tutu. Tutu is so adorable. Wouldn't it be more delicious if she was steamed in hot water? I miss Sister Yi's cold rabbit soup. When can Little Rabbit Farm come out with a similar dish? What kind of magic does Sister Yi have to make you guys change the topic like that? Xiang Yi's flirting was treated as a trump card. And now the trump card had worked. The third and fourth batch of links were still selling like hotcakes. Those who were close to the warehouse where the physical copies of the magazines were distributed quickly received the physical copies. The cover of Morning Star used a photo of Xiang Yi tugging at Shui's necktie. Their gazes met, and there was a clash of provocation and abstinence, as well as a clash of seduction and depravity. The atmosphere was full of storytelling. In the interview, other than the usual questions, there were also the two people's understanding of the story. Xiang Yi, it's a very romantic story. I think both the little princess and the vampire are very lonely. They don't have any good friends, so they are attracted to each other. Although the shooting style uses dark elements, I think the vampire is very gentle. He didn't hurt anyone. Shui, I think Sister Yi is right. It was more like redemption than depravity. On the surface, it was the vampire who had trapped the little princess. In fact, the little princess had also trapped the vampire. However, both parties were willing to do so. The little princess was like a star to him. The fans of the untimely couple were completely intoxicated by it. I don't care. I've already replaced Sister Yi with Shui Xingxing. Ha, I think Sister Yi's understanding is a fairy tale, while Shui's understanding is a love story. I'm different. I can imagine the 100,000 word content that's not allowed to be described on QQ. Sob, don't spout nonsense. Xiang Yi is still a child, what if she sees this? By 7 o'clock in the evening, MS's Weibo post had been reposted more than 100,000 times and liked hundreds of thousands of times. In a sense, untimely couple had really stepped out of the entertainment circle and entered the public eye. The number of fans who were in favor of the couple also increased rapidly. Just as everyone was in harmony, a certain marketing account released a video titled, Interview with Xiang Yi's ex-fiancé. Countless people were puzzled. After clicking on it, they realized that the main character of the video was a greasy man in his 30s. Xiang Yi is a big star now? She's the one? Haha, she was the one who chased me back then and insisted on eloping with me. Chapter 376. Of course I didn't get together with her. How could I possibly fancy a woman like her? The man in the video had facial features that could barely be considered handsome, but his words were disrespectful to women, and he would often talk about life principles. He even bragged about how big his internet celebrity company was. It was a vivid interpretation of a phrase, he was old and cunning. Spicy Tutu Xiang Yi's fans, who had just seen the video, were enraged. Sister Yi eloped with you? Dream on. This man. I'm so embarrassed that I've dug my toes out of 3 rooms and a living room. Spreading rumors requires a lot of effort, but refuting them requires a lot of effort. There must be a bottom line even when it comes to creating hype, okay? However, the male lead of the video had probably tasted the sweetness brought about by the popularity of the video, as he soon released a second video. At that time, we had already met each other's parents. Of course, I didn't fancy her. But she pestered me too much and insisted that I marry her, but her family didn't agree. In order to see me, she even climbed over the wall at home. Oh yes, for my sake, she even made her grandmother faint from anger and sent her grandfather to the hospital. There's nothing I can do about it, I'm just the kind of person that young girls like. The man continued to expose the video. This time he was obviously much more experienced. Behind him was the logo of his internet celebrity company. As he spoke, he showed everyone the chat history between him and Xiang Yi. Just as he said, the Xiang Yi in the chat history showed a strong desire to get married, and frantically expressed her love for the man. She even said that she was willing to bear his children after marriage and be a full-time housewife. The strong contrast made the netizens dumbfounded. This was simply a case of a goddess becoming a bootlicker. The old fans tried their best to explain that this must have happened during the period of amnesia. However, many fans who had just fallen into the trap expressed that they couldn't accept such a side of Xiang Yi. There were even several famous bloggers with millions of fans who posted condemnation. The value of a woman definitely doesn't revolve around cooking in the kitchen, let alone being a fertility machine. At Xiang Yi, I hate your persona and despise your worldview. I'm so angry. It's precisely because there are women like Xiang Yi that men look down on women. How many seniors have spent countless efforts to tear off the labels on women? Now, you are putting labels on women one by one and putting shackles on them. Filial piety is the most important of all virtues, and Xiang Yi is a real, unfilial daughter. Filial piety is a traditional virtue in our country. If celebrities can't do it, then wouldn't they be setting an example for their fans to be unfilial? I call for a boycott of Xiang Yi. Boycott, 2 under 1 roof. Qin Wanyin spent a large sum of money to bribe those bloggers. When she saw countless netizens scolding Xiang Yi, she instantly felt that her money was well spent. As for the man who broke the news, she was the one who first found a gossip media outlet and claimed that Xiang Yi was not as innocent and naive as the netizens thought. On the contrary, she had a dark history of eloping. That gossip media outlet was like a fly that had smelled rotten meat as they found the informant. Coincidentally, the informant also wanted to ride on the hype. Hence, both parties hit it off and came up with a huge piece of news. Brother Xian, do you have Xiang Yi's contact number? We can record a conversation between you and her. It'll definitely go viral. The person in charge of the gossip media outlet suggested. With a look of guilt in his eyes, Xnu said stubbornly, her number has already been changed. What about her family? How many brothers or grandparents? I'm taking a leave of absence. I'll make up for it tomorrow. Good night equals W smiley face. Chapter 377. Xanyu said vaguely, her brothers are all very busy. Even if I call them they might not answer me. In fact, he didn't even have the contact information of Sangchen and the others. There was actually nothing between Xanyu and Xiangyi. At that time, Xiangyi was just eager to get rid of the Xiang family. After all, he was a man in his 30s and she couldn't hide her intentions from him at all. Besides, it wasn't that he didn't fancy Xiangyi, but rather the Xiang family didn't fancy him at all. However, Xanyu felt that it wouldn't be a big deal to make use of some dramatic plots. Anyway, the hype would bring about popularity. In just a short while, there were plenty of small internet celebrities who wanted to sign a contract with his company. What about Xiangyi's grandparents? They're doing a live broadcast. If you call them, the popularity will definitely be explosive. The person in charge of the gossip media said. They were not philanthropists. They were taking such a huge risk to expose the news for the sake of money. As for Xanyu's life, it was not within their scope of concern. Think about it. If your company becomes the top in the industry and produces an online celebrity, you'll be more impressive than an entertainment star. As Xanyu listened, he was tempted. I have her grandfather's number, but I can't guarantee that he will pick up. The person in charge was overjoyed. It's okay, it's okay. If he picks up, we'll write about it. If he doesn't, we'll write about it too. If he doesn't pick up, I'll write something like, Xiangyi's grandfather treats his granddaughter like dirt, abandons her like an old shoe, and doesn't care about her marriage at all. Xanyu said, okay then. A few minutes later, in the gazebo of the manor, Xiang Yin's cell phone rang. Good luck to you, good luck to you, good luck brings joy and love. The down-to-earth ringtone made the staff at the scene burst into laughter. In particular, Li Jianyu's goose-like laughter was very charming, causing the netizens in the live stream to criticize him. Xiang Yin's ringtone is so cute. Son, others are singing but you're laughing. Director, you don't laugh at my variety show, huh? I'll lead the way. Xiang Yin looked at the number on the screen. Although he was old, he had a photographic memory. He sneered and hung up the phone. Although Xiang Yin had a bad temper, he wouldn't hang up on others so rudely. Xiang Yi asked curiously, Grandpa, what's the matter? Xiang Yin said, it's all because of that piece of dog skin rash that you provoked. Xiang Yi? Madame Xiang frowned and asked, Xanyu? Who else could it be other than him? Upon hearing this unfamiliar name, Xiang Yi, who was biting the tutu candy, was dumbfounded. Li Jianyu explained tactfully, Sister E is a man who claims to be your ex-fiancé. He's live streaming right now and he's calling your grandfather. It was obvious that he was trying to ride on her popularity. Two Under One Roof was currently a live broadcast program with a stable viewership of more than a few million people. It was extremely influential. Xanyu's move was too disgusting. He was obviously trying to ride on the popularity of Xiang Yi and the show. While they were talking, Xanyu called again. Xiang Yin was furious. Why did you block his number? After pondering for a moment, Madame Xiang said, give me your cell phone. Xiang Yi's grandfather was puzzled, but out of the habit of loving his wife for many years, his hand reacted before his brain could as he handed the phone to her. Old Mrs. Xiang pressed the answer button and said gracefully and composedly, Mr. Xn, what can I do for you? Chapter 378. On the other end of the line, Xanyu didn't expect someone to pick up at all. He was flustered for a few seconds before pretending to be familiar with her. Hello Grandma, I'm Xanyu. How have you and Grandpa been lately? Xiang Yin flew into a rage. This shameless bastard, how dare he mention that? If it weren't for him, would old Mrs. Xiang have fainted from anger? However, the netizens felt that this ex-fiancé was quite polite. Hence, there were even more comments directed at Xiang Yi. Many people's jealousy could be felt through the screen. To be honest, this middle-aged man is good-looking, has a successful career and is polite too. He's more than enough to be a good match for Vase Fairy. In my opinion, with his qualities he can get any woman he wants. Xiang Yi is just an actress, how can she have the cheek to be picky? Tsk, she has such high standards. I think she's just a scheming woman who looks harmless on the surface. If she wasn't picky, how could she be a couple with Sure Sui now? Madame Xiang said calmly, your grandpa and I are doing well. Xanyu, how about you? Are your legs okay? On the other end of the line, Xanyu choked. His dark history from back then surfaced uncontrollably. He had indeed been to the Xiang family home before. Although he knew that Xiang Yi had ulterior motives, he still harbored evil intentions and tried to make things happen. Unfortunately, as soon as he locked the door, it was kicked open. Coincidentally, it was the day of the Xiang family's family gathering and Xiang's 4 brothers were all there. Hence, Xnu was later hospitalized for 3 months. Having been hit where it hurt, Xnu said in a stiff tone with a trace of awkwardness on his face, "Grandma, I actually have something to say to Xiangyi. I wonder if you can give me her contact number?" The person in charge of the tabloid media had taught him that if Madame Xiang refused, he would ask if it was because he was afraid that Xiangyi still had feelings for him. When the time came, he would definitely make the headlines. To his surprise, Madame Xiang said leisurely, "If you have something to say it in person." Xinu was stunned. "I'll send you the address. That's all for now." Madame Xiang's attitude was gentle but firm. Then she hung up the phone. Everyone was dumbfounded. Only Madame Xiang seemed to be the most independent and clear-headed person. Her smile was kind, but her words were poisonous. Since he wants to broadcast live, let's satisfy him. Instead of blocking his mouth, let's listen to what he has to say. Netizens? Sameo Guz, your parents have gone to heaven, was probably inherited from you, Grandma. Xiangyi nodded in agreement. Grandma, what you said makes sense. Madame Xiang gently rubbed her granddaughter's face. Don't be afraid. Grandpa and Grandma will protect our good tutu. Xiang Yin was just about to show off his crutches when he heard Madame Xiang say, "Old man, bring me my whip." Li Jinyu got a great shock and hurriedly persuaded, "Grandma, we're still in the middle of a live stream, we can't have any violent or bloody scenes." Madame Xiang smiled and said, "Why would I? I'm teaching my good tutu how to hit a spinning top." The netizens were dumbfounded. Isn't there something wrong with this? Xinu initially refused to go to the manor. After all, he was worried about his leg. However, under the instigation of the tabloid media, he still made up his mind to go. When he arrived at the manor, the scene in front of him made him dumbfounded. The gray-haired old Mrs. Xiang forcefully whipped the spinning top, creating a thunderous sound in the air. Xnu's legs immediately turned to jelly. Chapter 379. However, Madame Xiang even took the opportunity to explain to everyone elegantly while whipping the whip. Spinning top is an ancient and traditional game. It's a good way to exercise for the elderly. The harder you hit the whip, the faster the spinning top. Glancing at Xnu, who had rushed over, Madame Xiang said smilingly, "There's another saying among the people, it's called, whipping the wretched." Xnu shuddered. The netizens were appalled. "Spinning top, why did you hit me?" Aggrieved. "JP, I suspect that Madame Xiang is hinting at Xnu. That's probably an elegant and vicious tongue." Is Xnu trembling? No way, right? Is he that cowardly? Ha, damned old woman, you're taking advantage of your seniority. It's your granddaughter's blessing that he fancies her. If you're sick, get it treated. Our sister E is loved by all. There are plenty of puppies who adore her. Who cares about such a greasy old man? Sure sway, old man? Thank you, I'm offended. In the live stream, some people were making jokes, some were arguing, and some were being silly. The number of viewers skyrocketed and the pop-up comments were also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The entire screen was densely filled. How is it? Have you learned it? Madame Xiang looked at Xiangyi. The girl said with uncertainty, "Shall I try?" Madame Xiang then handed the whip to her. Xiangyi moved her wrist and tried to swing it twice to get a feel for it. He didn't know what material Madame Xiang's whip was made of. Just by swinging it in the air, the whip cut through the air with a crackling sound. With a whip of the spinning top, the movement was doubled. Xinu was speechless. He suspected that he would die on the spot if the whip were to land on him. Xinu put on a fake smile and took the initiative to greet, "Hello, Grandpa and Grandma." He even nodded at the crew of the program and said, "Hello everyone, you've worked hard." He had specially changed into a silver-gray suit and combed his hair back, making him look rather handsome. Hearing this, Xiang Yi turned her little face to look at him. The girl's skin was so white that it seemed to glow. After taking care of her body for a while, she had become slightly rounder. Her face looked full of collagen, and her nearsightedness had also improved. She could be said to be beautiful and charming. The most amazing thing about her was her calm and gentle temperament. It was as if no matter how noisy her surroundings were, it would not affect her. Xianyu's heart began to itch. He felt that Xiangyi was even more beautiful than before. If she continued to pester him, he might agree to go out with her. At most, he would just kick her away when he got tired of sleeping with her. Just as this thought flashed through his mind, a cold gaze suddenly locked onto him. When he met Shui's dark and dangerous gaze, Xnu broke out in cold sweat and didn't dare to look at her again. Mr. Xen, Xiangyi said faintly. Hearing her clear voice, Xen refused to give up and leaned forward greedily. Xiangyi, long time no see, did you miss me? Xiangyi took a step back without a trace and distanced herself from him. I heard that you have something to say to me? When he got closer, he seemed to be able to smell the faint fragrance of her hair. Xen took a sniff greedily and said, It's not impossible for me to marry you, but I have a condition. Xiangyi was confused. Although she had many questions in her heart, she still maintained her social etiquette. Sorry, I lost my memory previously and it might have caused some misunderstandings. Drop the act. Xen was full of confidence. You better think it through. If you miss this opportunity, you won't get another one. Chapter 380. Xiangyi frowned slightly. She had never had the habit of interrupting others. Hence, even though she felt that Xen words were illogical, she still chose to listen to him patiently. Xen said, Didn't you agree to elope with me back then? I think girls should respect themselves. If you can get the consent of your family, I can consider dating you. Xiangyi had been tolerating it for a long time, but when he heard this he couldn't help but holler, Dream on. Don't even think about marrying into our family. Xen said shamelessly, I'm here now. Grandpa, didn't you say that you haven't forgiven Xiangyi? I'm the cause of all this. I'm here to help you solve the problem out of kindness. Xiangyin's face turned sullen. How could he really hold it against Tutu? However, he kept those words to himself and couldn't bring himself to say it in public. Due to Xiangyin's arrogant character and sudden silence, the netizens naturally got the wrong idea. I think Xanu's words make sense. Xanu isn't that bad, right? Why do you guys always think badly of him? He's obviously a PUA. He's belittling girls in order to gain control. He's so disgusting. Get lost, ugly man, stay away from Xiangyi. Why does Xiangyi have to bear the responsibility for the mistakes she made when she had amnesia? Cry. Xiangyi was rather calm. I don't have any plans to get married, nor do I have any memories of you, Mr. Xen. I don't think our lives will intersect again. Xenu looked at Xiangyi, who seemed to be trying to distance herself from him, and immediately panicked. How can you go back on your word? Seemingly feeling that his words were too childish, he resorted to his best means. But you're such a filthy woman. Who else would want you except me? Not only was he dissing her verbally, he even glanced at Zhongyi and Jiangjiang. Zhongyi's face turned pale and she shielded Jiangjiang behind her. He was well aware of the importance of reputation to a girl. This was because he knew that public opinion was always biased towards men. For example, if someone got pregnant before marriage, everyone would scold the woman. It was as if the man had no responsibility at all. Now that he said this, he was deliberately leading the crowd to believe that Xiangyi was no longer clean. Xiangyin flew into a rage. Nonsense. You're talking nonsense. He was so angry that he picked up his walking stick and wanted to break this dog's leg. Xenu hurriedly retreated and said, I've already said what I wanted to say. Xiangyi, I'll give you 5 minutes to consider. No need. The resolute words came from Madame Xiang. Her expression was calm and her dress was elegant. Whether it's our Tutu or other girls, they all live for themselves, not for others to see. And your slander, in my opinion, is childish and laughable. People who don't know the truth will attack a girl because of her so-called reputation. But as her family, we will never hurt her. Don't you agree, old man? Madame Xiang looked at Xiangyin with a smile in her eyes. Xiangyin seemed to have been encouraged, and the advantage of his loud voice was obvious at this moment. Bunny is our family's little darling. No one is allowed to hurt her. What do you mean by forgiving? I've never blamed her at all. Not even for a second. Chapter 381. Old Mr. Xiang was full of energy and his voice was loud and firm. Every word he said was powerful and resonant. Zhongyi, who was not far away, watched everything in shock. She was really envious of Xiangyi. Back then, when her family found out that she was pregnant with Jiangjiang, their first reaction was to chase her out of the house for fear that she would ruin their reputation. However, they also asked her to give her parents and brother a considerable amount of living expenses every month on the grounds that it was her duty to do so. On the other hand, Xiangyi's family protected and supported her unconditionally. Even Xiangyin, who was so arrogant and awkward, would make tutu candies for her. He would even give up his pride and protect her without hesitation. Xinu still wanted to play the same trick again. Then no one wants her. Shut up. So what if no one wants her? It's not like our family can't afford to raise her. Xiangyin retorted. Xiangyi's heart was filled with emotions. She pinched her palms to calm her surging emotions. It turns out that Grandpa has never blamed me. Madame Xiang was much more sharp-tongued. Is the standard to judge a girl by what you call, no one wants her? Come on, the Qing dynasty died a long time ago and arranged marriages have long ended. Even an old woman like me knows that marriage is free in the new era. Don't tell me you don't even know that? Pretending to be surprised, old Mrs. Xiang covered her mouth and said, "Ah, are you a fool? Or did your parents leave early?" Xianyu's face immediately turned as red as a pig's liver. In the live stream, the Spicy Tutu fans were overjoyed. Grandpa Xiang and Grandma Zhu, and dote on Sister E so much. Your parents left early equals you're an orphan. Thank you for Grandma's online lessons. Grandma's combat power is definitely on the SSR level. Xianyu is at most an arcade. Xianyu's gaze was erratic. He didn't expect Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang to be so difficult to deal with. They had clearly been hurt by Xiang Yi at that time, so why did they still choose not to hold it against her? That was beyond Xianyu's understanding. Since he couldn't persuade his family, Xianyu wanted to continue pressuring Xiang Yi. Didn't she want to break away from the Xiang family? Without him, how could she have succeeded? At the thought of this, Xianyu suddenly regained his confidence. He looked at Xiang Yi affectionately and said, "Actually, I don't look down on you that much. You do have some merits." Look, only he could see the good in Xiang Yi. This method of belittling first and then praising later could be said to have worked well in the past. Young and naive girls like Xiang Yi were the easiest to fool. The next second, Xiang Yi flicked the whip expressionlessly, scaring Xianyu so much that he shrieked and almost jumped up. "Excuse me, you're blocking my spinning top." Xianyu? The netizens were speechless. Everyone's attention then shifted to the whip in her hand. They shuddered at the same time. In the cold atmosphere, a low chuckle sounded. Sue's heart felt as if it had been brushed by a feather. "Sister E, could you teach me?" Shi Sui, who had been a bystander for a long time, opened her mouth slowly. "Sure." After Xiang Yi taught him a few words, Shi Sui took the whip. He had a high level of comprehension and was the type who could understand with just a little bit of guidance. After a few casual lashes, the spinning top spun even faster. The atmosphere in the live stream changed abruptly. The sense of immersion is too strong. I feel like Shi Sui is a villain who will resort to domestic violence. Other people who wield whips are men who harness horses. Why is this man so and so handsome? Chapter 382. Xianyu was speechless. He somehow felt that this man was treating him like a spinning top. In particular, his gaze seemed gentle but actually contained a strong sense of oppression. His scalp turned numb as he slandered Xiang Yi. "You'd better stay away from such a woman. She can elope with anyone she wants. Is that so?" Shi Sui chuckled as if the scenery around her had come alive. "Is there such a good thing?" Xianyu was dumbfounded. There was an uproar in the live stream. Official announcement? "Thank you for the help, buddy. You can get your bento box now." "Aw, don't laugh like that, who can stand it?" Attacking and belittling women is not a gentleman's behavior. It doesn't make you look noble. Shi Sui said unhurriedly, "If you can't even show respect, I'm very suspicious of your real purpose for coming here to look for Sister E." There were some things that everyone was well aware of, but they just didn't say it out loud. Shi Sui, on the other hand, exposed Xianyu's ugly and dirty thoughts. Xianyu was immediately embarrassed. "I came to look for her because she said that she wanted to marry me and even pestered me. So? Do you like her?" "Of course not, but after all, she's been pestering me." Xianyu began to spout nonsense under Shi Sui's intimidating aura. Shi Sui nodded slightly with a clear expression. "Mr. Xian, you're really contradicting yourself. On one hand, you belittle Sister E and keep saying that you don't fancy her, but on the other hand, you're pestering Sister E like a dogskin plaster and insisting on marrying her despite her wishes. I think I can use one word to describe your behavior." After a pause, he turned to look at the camera and tilted his head slightly. "If I say it out loud, our live stream will probably be banned." His fair and slender fingers gently pressed against his lips. Shoo, a large group of viewers in front of the screen were stunned. Shocking. Shi Sui actually knows how to act cute. Okay, don't talk. Otherwise, I'm going to remember your name." Ha ha, Shi Sui is so mean. Others don't hit people in the face, but he's hitting people in the face. Xianyu was rebuked until he was like a mute, unable to say anything for a long time. At this point, the audience was not stupid. They could tell that he had ulterior motives. However, there were still people who used Xiang Yi as an excuse to scold her. Shi Sui seemed to have guessed the public opinion on the internet. He leaned lazily against the pillar of the pavilion with his long legs slightly bent. Xiangyi doesn't even fancy me. Why would he fancy you? Everyone? Come on, you're the best actor. Can't you have a bit of a burden? How can you be so self-deprecating? Even the haters aren't as good as you. Xiang Yin, who had always found Shui to be an eyesore, suddenly felt that this rascal, it was all right. He snorted, "What's there to compare that dog with you? Comparing the two of you is simply a scammer." Xanyu was speechless. It's a knowing blow. Xiang Yi's grandmother said smilingly, "Mr. Xan, don't feel inferior. You're still better than Shui in one aspect. You may be ugly but you're thick-skinned." Xanyu was speechless. Doubles? At this moment, Xiao Naofu, who had been missing for a long time, finally returned. It was holding a fat rat in its mouth and nimbly jumped to Xanyu's feet before throwing it onto his shoes. Xanyu exclaimed, "Aw, rat! There's a rat!" He was so frightened that he completely lost his composure, as if he was a ridiculous clown. The crowd burst into laughter. Anger rose in Xanyu's heart and he kicked at Xiao Naofu. However, a creamy yellow figure at the side pushed Xiao Naofu away. Before Xanyu's foot could even touch a few strands of its fur, little Shiji rolled on the ground and went far away. It hummed feebly and aggrievedly. Woof! Xanyu's eyes widened in shock. Scammer. This is what you call scammer. Why are dogs pretending to be White Lotus these days? Chapter 383. In the eyes of the netizens, little Shiji was trying to protect Xiao Naofu, but in the end Xiao Naofu kicked him hard. Dog lovers are condemning him. Damn it, this ugly man is so vicious. It's just an innocent and pitiful dog. Pitiful, pitiful. Someone said that Xiao Naofu was in the wrong and was immediately rebuked. It's only right for cats to catch mice. Isn't it because Xanyu is so outrageous that even Xiao Naofu can't stand it and teach him a lesson on behalf of Sister Yi? I don't care, Xiao Naofu is the cutest in the world. I won't allow anyone in this world to dislike it. Xiangyi hurriedly went to check on little Shiji's injuries while little Shiji continued to put on an act and rubbed its head against her calf. Even Xiao Naofu was fooled and scurried over with its short legs. Meow meow? Stray dog, what's wrong with you? Little Shiji barked. Woof woof. Xiao Naofu didn't know how to speak dog language, but it felt as if little Shiji was saying, "My wound hurts so much." After hesitating for a few seconds, it condescended and licked little Shiji's fur while swallowing the humiliation. Ah meow. It won't hurt anymore if you lick it. The heartwarming scene made one feel even more distressed and infuriated. Xianyu would never have thought that using public opinion to manipulate the emotions of netizens would result in a backlash that came too easily. Tell him to get lost. Tell him to get lost. I'm begging you to whip him. Whip him like a spinning top. My heart aches for little Shiji. Xiao Naofu must be blaming itself too. U1S1 Xiao Naofu is so nice. Xiao Naofu has taken the initiative to lick little Shiji's fur. In the animal world, that's a sign of goodwill and affection. Xiangyi looked up with an icy cold gaze. When he met her gaze, Xanyu's heart trembled as he felt that the Xiangyi in front of him was extremely unfamiliar. She had changed from a vain and pompous girl who had her thoughts written all over her face to an existence that he dared not look at. I didn't kick it on purpose. Xanyu broke out in cold sweat and continued, "Besides, it's just a beast. So what if I kicked it? How can a beast compare to a human?" Xiangyi nodded. "You're right." Xanyu heaved a sigh of relief. "Seems like this woman still cares about me." In the next second, Xiangyi said indifferently, "You're a human? Xanyu?" The live stream. Even the staff at the scene were dumbfounded. F***ck, so Sister E knows how to insult people too. Shui answered lazily, "Calling him a beast seems to be an insult to the word beast." Xiangyi sneered. "Is he worthy?" The two of them sang the same tune and cooperated seamlessly. The lethality of their attacks was off the charts. Xanyu's face was extremely sullen, but he didn't know how to refute. "You're human? You've added more insults to your vocabulary. Shui and Sister E have such great chemistry. They're like parents protecting their children. Turns out Sister E has a temper too. She's so adorable when she's so fierce. I want to rub her. Mr. Xan, take care. I won't see you off." Madame Xiang adjusted her shawl gracefully. Xanyu bluffed. "Xiangyi, I'm leaving. Don't regret it." Xiangyi rubbed the back of little Shiji's neck, got up and walked towards him step by step. Xanyu was nervous and expectant as his heart pounded rapidly. That beautiful and fair face was getting closer and closer to him. Whoosh. Xiangyi grabbed his collar and lifted him up with one hand while Xanyu's feet were suspended in the air with a horrified expression. She raised her eyebrows gently, seemingly giving him a gift. Can get. Chapter 384. There was a few seconds of silence in the live stream before the pop-up comments flooded the screen. Picking up a grown man with one hand? I was wrong, I shouldn't have called her sister. Sister, are you a sniper? I'm sorry I've betrayed you. Why is it inappropriate? From now on, I'm your loyal fan. Xanyu was scared out of his wits and in a moment of desperation, he turned to Madame Xiang, who seemed to be the easiest to talk to. Grandma, take care of your granddaughter. She's not behaving like a girl at all. Madame Xiang blinked and asked, Old man, did you see anything? Xiang Yin answered calmly, I'm old and my eyesight is poor. I didn't see anything. Shi Sui even applauded and exclaimed, Wow, Sister Yi is so impressive. Zhongyi didn't say anything and simply covered Jiang's eyes calmly. Xianyu was dumbfounded. What kind of people is this family? Xiangyi carried him a few meters away with a straight face before throwing him out and slamming the small wooden door of the garden that led to the manor. Don't bother me again. Otherwise you'll have to bear the consequences. Xiangyi had always been a good-tempered person, but that didn't mean that she didn't have a temper. Xianyu was so frightened that he peed his pants and stumbled out. The photographer, old Zhang, even gave him a close-up shot and recorded his disheveled back view. The spicy tutu girls felt extremely relieved. That's the right way to treat scumbags. Reason is for humans, scumbags don't count as humans. There's no need to reason with them. Xiangyi took a deep breath, calmed herself down and carried little Shiji back to the living room. Xiao Naofu's footsteps were light and it carried little Shiji's kennel into its luxurious cat mansion before her. Meow. Meow meow. Stinky dog, I'm not being nice to you. It's just, the mansion is too big. I'm just letting you have a little space. Xiangyi's eyes were filled with warmth. Xiao Naofu, you've grown up. Xiao Naofu looked away, feeling a little embarrassed. After placing little Shiji in the kennel, she raised her hand and stroked the dog for a while. Xiao Naofu suddenly became envious again. It aggrievedly snuggled up to Xiangyi's hand and rubbed itself against her like a spoiled little kitten. Meow. You're not allowed to touch the dog. You can only touch this hoo-hoo. You are really a little troublemaker. Xiangyi's tone was helpless and doting, but she gave Xiao Naofu a full massage. Rubbing the back of its neck and pinching its ears, the kitten soon couldn't take it anymore. It was so comfortable that it relaxed. It took the initiative to approach Xiangyi, wanting to kiss her. Xiangyi remembered its heroic posture of catching the mouse just now and was very moved. Then she covered its mouth. Cough, you can only kiss after brushing your teeth. Xiao Naofu instantly showed a heartbroken expression. Meow meow meow. This damned stupid woman actually dared to despise this handsome hoo-hoo? The netizens in the live stream were dying of laughter. Xiao Naofu, it was a mistake after all? Shi Sui. This is a lesson, remember it? You can only kiss after brushing your teeth. Under Xiao Naofu's heartless gaze, Xiangyi's heart softened again. She coaxed softly, shall we kiss on the forehead then? It humphed in a childish voice. Xiangyi leaned forward, her hair cascading down, and her cherry-colored lips pouted slightly. There was a soft pop sound, but it didn't land on the kitten's forehead. Instead, it landed on the back of the man's fair and slender hand. It was Shi Sui who had placed her hand between Xiao Naofu and her lips. The netizens were flabbergasted. Shi Sui is the most shameless of the family of four. Chapter 385. He did it with his own hands. That means he kissed her on the lips. Hey, aren't you going a little overboard by rounding things off? Haha, Xiao Naofu's expression is so funny, cat. JPG. Even Xiangyi was dumbfounded, let alone the netizens. The calmest person was none other than Shi Sui. Shi Sui's long and narrow eyes curved in joy, but he said righteously, Sister Yi, you're taking advantage of Xiao Naofu so openly. It won't be able to find a girlfriend. Xiangyi? Xiao Naofu? The netizens? Li Jianyu's mouth twitched. Daddy, sure, although Xiao Naofu and little Shiji are not humans, you're a dog. Ruan Qing's eyes were full of smiles as if she had seen through something. Xiangyi took a few seconds to react. She retreated slightly and put some distance between her lips and the back of his hand. She asked softly, what are you going to do then? Shi Sui chuckled and asked, why? Are you disgusted with me? I'm not, don't spout nonsense. Shi Sui began to sigh and said, actually, I think what that man said just now makes sense. No one will want an unclean boy. Xiangyi panicked and exclaimed, No. Don't listen to his nonsense. Don't take the words of annoying people to heart. You're not an unwanted kid. Shui pinched her face and teased, I'm 7 years older than you, how dare you call me a kid? Jianghu said. Big friend. The interaction between the two made countless netizens smile in front of their screens. I'm shedding tears of envy. Lonely, 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 lonely. I have a feeling that Shui's subtext is, if I'm unclean you have to be responsible for me. Jianghu, you're such a silly child. This dog of a man is tricking you. Why are you so silly and sweet in front of him? Xiao Naofu meowed angrily. It wanted to scratch Shui, but it was afraid of being taken away for sterilization, so it could only bark at him a few times. Little Shiji's black eyes were moist as he curled his tail around Xiao Naofu's and pulled the little kitten into his arms. Fortunately, the kennel was big enough and the kitten was small, so it was not crowded when they slept together. Xiao Naofu was both aggrieved and angry, its little paws pounding on the soft kennel. Little Shiji licked its fur patiently, not annoyed even after being kicked by Xiao Naofu. Only then did Jianghu realize that their conversation was slightly ambiguous, and the atmosphere was strange. She looked at the clock on the wall and coughed. It's 8 o'clock. Why don't we watch TV? Shui always listened to her. Okay. The netizens in the livestream room were speechless. Forget about the previous hashtag I'm watching a live stream hashtag, but now hashtag I'm watching a variety show hashtag? Xiangyi went to turn on the TV while her grandparents, Zhongyi and Jiangjiang came over one after another. The opening was a cartoon version of Xiangyi and Shui planting flowers and vegetables, fishing and catching pigs. Jiangjiang watched with rapt attention. Wow! The production team was stunned for a while before realizing that Xiangyi's unintentional actions were actually good publicity. Their livestream had such high traffic, it would be a waste not to use it. Hence, Li Jianyu frantically began to advertise in the voiceover. Dear viewers, please stay tuned to Nanqing Satellite TV's Two Under One Roof. Those who have a TV, please support the broadcast. Those who don't, please download Nanqing TV. While he was speaking, the show began. Although countless netizens were teasing Li Jianyu, they still switched on the TV and downloaded the software. The production team of Eating Well for All 3 Meals almost fainted from anger when they found out about this. Chapter 386. Why didn't we think of such a simple, effective, and direct publicity method? In the group chat of Meow TV, the director sent a voice message and flew into a rage. Are you all idiots? How can you not think of this? The others were complaining incessantly. Before Ruan Qing left, she had actually done the work of several people on her own, and her completion rate was particularly high. As soon as she left, it was no exaggeration to say that the planning department and the publicity department were half paralyzed. They were leaderless and their work efficiency was extremely low. Only now did they begin to regret it. How great would it be if Ruan Qing hadn't left? Wouldn't I have pushed all the work to her? Wouldn't I have been the scapegoat? On the other hand, Xiangyi began to get restless after watching the introduction. She hadn't watched much of Two Under One Roof, but now it seemed that she didn't have a good sense of camera angles in the first episode. She looked like she wasn't very smart. Why don't we change the channel? Xiangyi said seriously. Let's watch the news and find out about national affairs. Madame Xiang exclaimed, this is so interesting. Our dear Tutu is on TV, she's so impressive. I'm going to post this on my WeChat moments. Xiang Yin said, listen to your grandma. Xiangyi said, okay. The netizens were appalled. Ha ha ha, large-scale public execution. Sister E, did you grow up eating cuteness? Turns out grandma is the person with the highest status in the family. The first episode was edited by Li Jianyu himself, and the title was, The Most Valuable Thing in Life is Friends. There were 2 main plots, one of which was between Shui and Director Yen. Director Yen was both Shui's talent scout and a good friend of Shui's. When old friends reunited, this plot was heartwarming. When they talked about the past, there were also plenty of old songs that could make the audience think of their good friends in a comfortable atmosphere. The other plot was between Xiangyi and Yen Nai. At first, Yen Nai was hostile towards Xiangyi, but soon he vividly displayed what it meant to be sweet. This plot was a lot more interesting. The scene where Xiangyi reconciled with the father and son was also very contagious. Although it was about daily life, the pace of the editing was very tight. After an hour and a half, it made people feel that it was not enough. This variety show was too interesting. What? The second episode will only be broadcasted next week? Many people beat their chests and stamped their feet. In the end, they found out that this was actually a live broadcast program. In an instant, Many new viewers who had been attracted by television flooded into the live broadcast room. The director's room was filled with all sorts of equipment and instruments. Li Jianyu and the others refreshed the online version's views. 160 million. The production team, exclamation point. It exploded. This was an explosive number. Soon Ruan Qing went out to answer a call. When she returned she said calmly, "The viewership ratings are out." "How much?" Li Jinyu was the first to ask. He grabbed his hair again. Don't tell me. I don't dare to listen. Although the online version's numbers were good, if the viewership ratings were too low, he would still feel frustrated. Ruan Qing smiled. "It is indeed an unbelievable number." I'm not listening." Ruan Qing ignored him and said to the crowd, "The average viewership rating is 2.18 and the highest is 2.46. All of a sudden there were cheers in the small room. At the same time, Muyao TV had also received the news. The viewership ratings for the premiere of Eating Well for all 3 meals yesterday were the highest at 1.8, but later on the average viewership ratings dropped to about 1.6. Meanwhile, the viewership ratings for Two Under One Roof had exceeded 2. This was like rubbing them against the ground.